And we are back.
We are back, bumblebees.
We're doing another interview. We have Conservative Aunt in the house yet again. I'm going to just get like a name plaque behind you like they have on Temple.
I'm good.
And it's going to say
Yeah.
that motherfucker behind it in case people don't know.
I love that.
And we're here with Blake. I'm excited about this. I am a fan of your TikTok content and your Instagram content, but more importantly, I'm a fan of who you are in terms of business owner and a father.
Nice.
So I want to get into some of those conversations. But before we do that, can you tell the people who you are, what you do, and how they can find you?
Well, my name is Blake Reynolds. I build houses, I sell houses, and I'm on Instagram. And like you said, I do TikTok videos and create content like that. But that's really about it. I'm about as simple as they come. I just put my personal life online, and it seems to work out. People seem to be interested in it. So nobody's special. I'm just a builder. I'm a contractor, and I make content. That's about it. I know you hate that.
I hate that because
He does that to us too.
Yeah, I do it because you know what? Because I never knew my value as a content like this, and I hate the name content creator, you guys. I really do, but like
Better than influencer.
Better than influencer.
I like being a personality.
Personality.
Yeah. Personality.
But it's not true though.
What do you mean?
You're not a personality because this is who you are. You
Right.
just have a camera in front of you right now.
Very true.
I think a personality is a persona. Like it's it's
I would
fake.
agree with that.
Okay.
So you're not a personality. You're Miss Madam Peaches DeVille,
Yeah.
and that's just all there is.
Well, like for me, I'm the exact same on camera as off camera. So when people are like this, you know, when you say tell us what you do, I'm like I just live in front of people. You know, like I don't. And so he's like, you got to know your value. I said I know my value on this side, but I also know that there's no value on that side, and you might see it, but I'm sitting here thinking I'm just a normal like.
Right.
Yes.
So when like who are you? Well, I'm not ludicrous. You know,
Right.
I'm not a Grammy award winning whatever. I'm just your regular Joe Schmo that builds houses, and I'm funny sometimes.
Yes, but I think that we are now the new form of entertainment, maybe is a good word.
Yep.
For people that, you know, podcasting and like new personalities, people are tired of seeing the old stuff that we've seen on TV forever. You know, you look at like Jimmy Fallon or like, you look at all these late night shows and it's like the same. Yeah, okay, well, so he's been on the air for how long? But now you get Chris and Peach. Like, this is new. You know, you get Blake Reynolds. Like, he's a commentator on politics and in the world and what's going on, current events. I'd rather watch him than go on to Fox News or CNN. So
We're somebody saved by the bell out there.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
You actually have to watch TV because of your content, though.
Yeah.
Other than the news and the political interest, do you watch TV?
I watch trash TV.
Oh,
I like the Real Housewives. Yeah, I love trash TV. Real Housewives, I like that. You know, what I do from like the news standpoint when I'm watching TV is I take it and then I'm like, I listen to what they say and I'm like, and then I'll research it. So it leads me to the story in the article. And then I'm like, is this worth something to tell everybody and fearmonger on? Or is like, does it hold substance? So I do watch TV, but TV isn't like it was when we were younger. Or I know, I feel like we're like, oh, when I was a kid, I walked 50.
I don't know. I feel like we can actually say that because I'm 37. I'm not a kid anymore.
You're not. You're
Right,
not.
but
So-
see, we all grew up in a very different time, right? Like, you know that there's a new... Have you heard the term alpha generation?
No.
Yeah, so if you're born after, I think it was 2010, you're part of the alpha generation. So
it's Gen Z and then Gen A,
yeah.
Gen Alpha. Yeah.
So the Gen X group, I mean, you're close enough to that. You're technically a millennial. I'm sorry about that.
Zennial, remember we said it last?
Oh, yeah. They actually,
Zennial.
they made a thing about that. It's like 80 to 83.
Correct.
Yeah. You guys, you're right. You have like the weird gap there, but we had different TV. Like if you look at TV shows that we watched growing up, they wouldn't even make a pilot episode of Archie Bunker or Married with Children. Could you imagine Al Bundy now?
Right.
Bro.
Wouldn't work.
No.
Instant cancel.
Yeah.
Ed O'Neill would not be on television, dude. Like,
Right.
I mean, even Home Improvement was
right.
like it just,
Well,
and
even
that's what we grew up on. I grew up watching Tim the Cool Man Taylor.
Yeah, or Roseanne. I mean, listen, the Connors were, you know, I grew up with a family that was like making it. Just making it. My dad was a contractor.
Yeah.
And so it was relatable to millions and millions of people because that's what they were going through. And they touched on everything from parenting to politics, all of it. And now what do you have for sitcoms?
Right.
Well, even if you look at the kid shows, back when we were young, kids weren't in charge. But if you watch any of the kid shows now, it seems like all the kids are in charge. The dad's always some goofy,
Can't handle
like
himself.
Blippi.
yeah, can't if it wasn't for the kids in their life, the parents would just fall apart. And I'm like, we grew up watching TV. Like, let's take Saved by the Bell for example. Man, they still reverence their parents. You know, like the dads were still disciplined. Like when you saw certain episodes, it was like, hey, we're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's just like, they won't care. You know, it's like
You're so right about that.
it with the whole thing. I'm like, back in the day because we were talking about the structure of a family.
Yeah.
That was in our TV shows too. You know, there was structure to a family in TV shows. But if you look at it now, like your Miley Cyrus type shows, like they're in charge and the parents are just goofy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so now kids these days, I honestly think they look at their own parents like they don't know any better. You know, they're goofy.
Yeah.
They need
Social
me in their
programming.
life.
Not in this household.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking try me, child.
right,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, because like what you said, we're part of that try me generation. Like,
Yeah, fuck around and find
Yeah.
out. We were the epitome of that.
yeah, like we literally did ride in the back of pickup trucks when we went somewhere.
Oh my God.
yeah.
You know how many times I almost flew out of the back of that thing because
Yeah.
my dad was driving drunk with me in the
Yeah.
back of that shit? Like,
There were so many times that not stepfather, but parental figure present.
Yeah.
How many times we got pulled over, sir? You can't be doing this.
Yeah.
You have to get the children out of the back of the truck.
But it was a different time where it was let it slide or whatnot. Dude, my dad slammed on the brakes in our huge van actually, just so he can grab me. And I was
Yeah,
way
you told
back
me.
there.
I remember that.
Hit the
Got you
brakes.
now. Yeah.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you can't do that. Right?
that's because parents don't have skill like that anymore. They can go outside and play catch.
Yeah. And they're calling these people the alpha generation.
Right,
Next?
yeah, wrong.
Damn,
yeah, and
beta
that's
generation.
what I thought was weird because we were looking up these ages the other night, and I was like, I really don't know what generation that is, and I was like, Generation Alpha. I was like, hold on, I think my generation should be Generation Alpha, or the one right before us.
Yeah.
I was like, because I don't feel like this one is. It's like Gen Z matches all of y'all, but Gen Alpha, I don't know where we got this from because there's nothing alpha about these kids coming up, and this is why I am such a passionate father when it comes to being that alpha male in my home. I carry around this sticker in that 48 Laws of Power book I'm reading. It says, make masculinity great again. And it's like, it's not being the chauvinistic male figure that everybody, you know,
Portrays
like
it
the
to
Al
be.
Bundys. It's not that. It's just like, hey, here's rules, here's standards. This is what we're going to live by. Because if I point back to a time where it was great, that's what I'm pointing back to when life was structured that way, that you had reverence for your neighbor because he was older than you.
Yeah.
You know, if your neighbor could yell across the yard and say, boys, cut it out. And you're like,
Yes, sir.
wow,
is-
because if
yeah.
he tells my dad, so it's like, yes, sir, well, you know, sorry, sir. Like, hey, get out of my yard. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Nowadays, kids are like, screw you, screw your yard. I'm like, woo.
Yeah. I lived in places in Tennessee where you wouldn't say shit to your neighbors because you get spanked by your neighbors and then get it when you got home by everybody that lives in the house. So I have two things. One, is this your first time reading through the 48 Laws of Power?
It is.
It's
It
such a good book.
Yeah, I
if you
love
guys haven't read that, that's on our recommended reading list. I think everyone needs to read that book at least once. 50 Cent actually did like a 50-cent version of that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I bet his is kind of cool too.
It is kind of cool. Yeah.
Was it Laws of the Streets? Basically?
No, it's 50 Laws of Power, but it's just his motto.
He's got to have. You know, he's got to have those though, because like you're a boss, man.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. But the 48 Laws of Power book is kind of like it's taking over my brain space.
Yeah. They actually banned that in a lot of prisons.
Really?
Because it teaches you how to control scenarios and manipulate.
Kind of
people.
manipulate. Well, so I
to read this.
text one to my wife, and she's like, "Wow, that sounds kind of evil." And I was like, "No." I said, "You're looking at it the wrong way." I said, "We all kind of use this." I said, "Just like with your kids, because it was basically talking about being honest to a point to gain their."
Right.
I can't remember the words. They were talking about Al Capone, and the guy borrowed $50,000 from him, and he went and set it in the bank,
Right.
and didn't touch it because he was after $5,000.
Right.
So he told him, "I'll double your money." Al Capone gives him the $50,000. He goes and puts it in the bank. He comes back and he's like, "Sorry, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Here's your 50 grand.
Here's your 50 grand back." And Al Capone was like, "I expected the money to be doubled, or I expected there to be zero, but
Yeah.
you brought me back He's like, I really tried, you know, and then started to kind of just fell on some hard times. Just stuff's not going the way I wanted to. Then Al Capone gave him $5,000. And I was like, wow, what a tool this guy has.
Yeah.
His
Confidence.
His goal was to get $5,000, and he waited 2 months with 50 sitting in the thing, but because everybody was afraid of Al Capone.
Right.
You're not going to screw over Al Capone. So he's like, I got it. I'm going
Yeah.
to put his money in the thing, and I'm going to bring it back to him, and I'm going to gain his trust, and he's going to like me after this. And I was like, wow. And I was like, we kind of do this. We do it to our kids. You know, you're just enough truthful to your kids to get them to say what you need them to say. And it's like, yeah, I knew the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, to me, it's not, I think manipulation is always used in a
Negative.
negative connotation to it, but I'm like, we all do it.
Yeah.
Pastors get up and manipulate a crowd to believe what they believe. It's like, I read this is my interpretation of this scripture. I'm telling you because I want to convince you that what I'm saying is true. I was like, everybody uses a form of manipulation. I don't know why everybody thinks it's a bad thing.
I want to add that you said that guy just wanted $5,000. He just wanted $5,000 from Al Capone.
Yeah.
Right. That's a very different $5,000.
Yeah. Well, it said he was working on, he had a bunch of scams that he was working on. So it wasn't just working Al Capone. He was working, you know, this is why he could go set it and wait 2 months, because tomorrow he's going to go pick up 5 from this guy.
Yeah.
And so, but the guy was talking about, in a world where there's no manipulation, I'd have to read the quote, but I put it on my Instagram, but he said, a world without it would be boring. And I was like, wow, you know, he's kind of right. If everybody was just so honest to a fault where there was none of that, the world would kind of just be boring. It would be wholesome. There wouldn't be nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, you got to have those scam artists out there that kind of bring a little entertainment
There's a
value
lot
to
of
it.
those, that's for sure.
Huh?
A lot of scam artists out there.
But what's your favorite law in that book?
I'm going to forget what I was going to say before we get to that. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was when we were talking about the generation thing earlier, I saw something today that said that we were the generation that was taught respect through a hands-on experience.
That's true.
And I was like, yo, that is the coolest shit I've ever heard. Because
So true.
People are always like, Generation X is the fuck around and find out epitome, you know? But it's because we had like a healthy fear in us, you know what I mean? And it was warranted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had said too, you know, on the ride here, we talked a lot about this. And, you know, I had a certain fear for my especially my dad. And it wasn't a fear of like, he's just for no reason going to beat the shit out of me. It was like, fuck around and find out.
You knew he could.
Correct. He had that power, you know. It was like, I know that if I do this, I'm pretty fucked,
Right.
you know. And I think that I know that kids need that, and parents are so scared to do that nowadays. They've made that like, oh, you have to talk to your kids and hell, talk. Oh my God, I wish my dad would have just, you know. But I never did that shit again, whatever it was.
Even the word spanking has taken the oomph that it used to have.
Yeah.
It was a whooping back when you about to get whooped, you know. But now they're like spanking. I'm like, I didn't get spankings, I got whoopings.
Yeah.
So even like spankings, like it even just sounds like that. And I'm like, nah, man. When I knew it was happening, I started crying early. Because I knew what it meant. Like, I'm going to be crying after. I'm crying now because I know it. But I don't know. It's such a hard conversation to have now, especially on social media, because so many people are afraid that you're going to damage and ruin kids. And I'm like, man,
Because they
have
have these psychiatrists or psychologists, whatever you want to call it, that are saying that was the wrong way. It was traumatizing the children in that way. Now, by no means do I mean to excessively beat your children to a bloody pulp. There's a problem. That's abuse. No. But like, just to know that my father's hand would really hurt if he smacked my ass, or my mom would backhand me in the mouth if I said something out of line. Like that alone was like, I'm good. I don't want that backhand.
Right.
I got whoopings at school, didn't y'all?
Yeah, I did.
Like, it was, to me, it seemed like such a normal thing to get a whooping when I was a kid.
I got 4
that.
4 in a day.
And you turned out fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call it that. The
God bless
whoopings
the
didn't
broken
do
road.
anything
That's
but
what
make
happened.
me tough.
Yeah, it does. Well, we really did just come from a different place. Just like, like the guy whispering to the other guy, like we had to investigate. Why are you whispering him? This is not normal.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, I feel like you're talking about Ant. So now I'm about to go over here and figure out what you're trying to do. And it's just like, that's the world that we grew up in.
Yeah. So
yeah, I need to hear this.
Yeah.
Because I'm now like what?
So this show is about Blake today. So I'm going to let you know a little bit about Blake.
Oh.
Blake is so protective of the people that he cares about and he
way it
loves,
should be.
which is the loyalty in that alone as a friend. Like this guy is amazing. But I call him a pit bull because when we're out and about, like we're out walking on the street last night after the bar, and if somebody came up to me or anybody in our group or any of the girls, you instantly see Blake like he could be all the way on the other side of the world, and he'd pop up and be like, what's up? What we good here? And so this lady stopped me on the street yesterday and said that I was in her wellness center, and I was like, I'm sorry, miss, I wasn't. Well, the other 3 guys behind her were like whispering.
And they stared him up and down, and then they started whispering, and I was just like, all right.
So he's like, what's going on here?
And I just walked up to all 3 of them, and I was like, is there a problem? I said, I see y'all whispering to each other. I said, is there an issue? And he's like, oh, no, man. He's like, it's all good. I said, well, it didn't look good to me. I was like, it don't look good to me. I said, I'm glad to know that it is, though. So I walked up to Ant, and I was like,
very respectful, you know what I'm saying?
I walked up to Ant, and I was like, we're good. And he's like, I saw them looking at me, too. And I was like, yeah. And Jimmy's like, it was nothing.
Oh, my man is he thinks that everybody's shit's glitter. I mean, the guy thinks that the whole world is great, and that's beautiful for him. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful mindset to have. But I just don't think everybody is good.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's very true. And so the people that I want to protect.
Because men don't whisper.
No.
Correct.
Right.
I would like in a situation like that, I would say what I wanted to say out loud, but I would never lean over to one of my boys and.
Yeah.
I wanted to say it's gay.
I was hoping you would say that. I
feel
feel like a piece of you, can I be honest?
Yeah.
I feel that maybe a piece of you might have thought that they were talking about me because I was gay.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. So I knew what it was.
How sweet is that? All of you that said that Blake is homophobic. He is definitely.
People say I'm homophobic.
I've seen it in comment sections before.
They say all kinds of shit
you're
about
conservative.
you, bro.
Yeah.
Your comment sections are more entertaining than your videos are.
He was trying to protect his gay friend, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, dudes don't whisper like that. Like, you got a problem with him? So, I mean, it's honorable.
And maybe because maybe part of me knew that Tito Ortiz was right around the corner.
That is true. That is true.
It's like, because we were on our way to go
To meet Tito,
like,
yeah.
he's playing poker or whatever. And I was like, no, that's not why I did it. But now that I think about it, hindsight, it's like, wouldn't have been a bad little run up for him to just pop up out of nowhere and be like, hey, y'all looking for me? I've been like, matter of fact, I am. Matter of fact, I am. No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's like an intentional pit bull thing, but it really is like I think everybody should protect their friends like that.
I agree.
And like the women in the group, I know a lot of women don't like this about men like me. If you're a female in our friend group, I don't care if it's a sister to me, if it's my wife, or just a friend of a friend of a friend. If you're there, I feel like it is the responsibility of every male to protect you. And then, we don't need protecting. It's like, well, you don't think you do.
I don't think any of the girls in our group are like that. They're like, you can protect me.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, I know I can defend myself. Like, I carry and I got pepper spray. I know how to take eyes out and whatnot. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I would rather y'all handle that. I get my nails done and whatnot, and I don't like being injured.
Yeah. Well, it's just the nature of
that.
man.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this is what I love about it. It's like, don't restrict that. That's the most natural thing about me, is to want to protect you. At the end of the day, it's not like I didn't get a bonus check because I protected you more than I should have. This is just my nature.
Right.
It comes out just like it's in a woman's nature. Just like, remember when we were in Nashville, won't say no names, but I needed the woman that was in the group because I lost my phone. She had it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find this. She had it.
Yeah.
She knew what time we were supposed to be where. It's just like, hey, I need that in my life. And that's the nurturing part that I need. But it's natural for me to want to protect a female.
No, I want to say this though too. What I want the viewers to know too is I really want gay men to step up in that sense as well and protect women because, like for instance, I'm gonna pat myself on the back because just you telling me about how the men in the group protected the women last night. I do that when I go out. Like I do watch out for my girlfriend.
Is that not common in the gay community?
I don't know, but I think they feel like they're one of the girls and they're not. Like you need to like.
Yeah.
You
I
need
see what
to
you're
step up. You know what I'm saying? So one of my friends, she was drunk last night, and like we all the men really had a good eye on Michelle, but you know there was one point in the night where she sat on one of our female friends' lap and she put her legs up onto my legs, you know, because I was sitting on the next chair.
I did not see any of this, by the way.
No, he didn't. It was just
I was not around.
It was me and my two females, but I was holding her dress like closed,
right.
and I had my hands just covering it. Like it wasn't a big deal. I was just doing it because I knew.
I want to say though that might be only a thing a gay dude could get away with.
No. But here,
Because I would have never grabbed her dress and held it. I would have not done that. I would have looked at you and been like, Aunt.
I was doing it to protect her privacy.
Right.
And I know that men.
You know what I'm talking
I do know what you're talking about.
Okay. But I'm saying when I got up after that, she was like, thank you for holding my dress the whole time. Because nobody else would look out for their female friends like that. And females do need to be protected. And I want gay men to know y'all need to be there just as much as Alpha Blake is there.
I want to say so much funny stuff to you right now.
Can you please do it?
No, like, because to me, because you're talking about.
Am I wrong?
That's a no square.
What is?
You know, I would have not
So
have done
only
that.
a gay guy, what you're saying is only a gay guy can hold the dress shut?
Gay men need to step up where their women
I
friends
will
aren't,
be honest,
but-
when she sat the first time, I was like, girl, all your shit is out. And then she was like, oh, I didn't even notice that.
Because if I would have done that, I'd have been
did.
like, don't touch me. And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to protect you like my gay friends do.
Oh, that's a good one. So then you have to be like, hey, and then pretend that you're gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have been like, girl, I was just trying to look out for you and everything.
Oh, what was it that you said last night?
No.
When one of my female friends came up to me, I'm like, oh, okay, bitch, go get it. And I gave her a high five. And then Blake comes right around. He's like, you know damn right I would have never been able to say that to you. And she's like, what? Oh, you go, bitch, and give you a high five. And I'm like, because you're straight. He's like, see, there's gay privilege.
Yeah.
So then he started doing the didn't work.
Y'all believe that there's gay privilege, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
it's not equality. There's equity there.
Yeah. This and you
No,
got
I agree. I agree.
You got a lot more equity than a lot of people. Just like there's certain things I can't get away with.
I mean, there are reasons that straight men will fake being gay to get closer to women.
Yeah.
And that
That's a whole different problem.
that is a problem. I've heard this before. It's kind of it's not kind of, it's sick.
Yeah, but gay men definitely do get a different place in life than straight men do when it comes to women.
Yeah. And men. Because to me it would, because it's safer to have a gay friend than it is to have a female friend. You know, so it's like there's equity just in that alone, because I wouldn't be able to go spend a weekend with just a female creator.
No.
You know what I mean? So, but it's like, and everybody can make the jokes like, what kind of content you and Aunt going to be creating?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
I've already seen them in the comment section.
yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, some. No,
So
but it's just funny.
they do. They make
But
that.
It can be a joke. It's fun, but man, you let me get around another female creator or whatever, everybody's automatically like, bet they're sleeping together, or I bet this, or I bet that.
That
It's just
drama.
like, it's not all. It's not. It doesn't always. So having a gay creator friend is almost love in a sense.
I like that.
You get the best of both worlds.
That's nice. I like that.
I mean,
We have like a little bromance.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Can you
I love
explain
that
the seashells in your, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Can you explain the seashells in your truck?
So my brother made this comment to me last week, and then my other brother decided to make this comment to me yesterday. So I have a Ford F-150. To me, it's a pretty masculine truck. You know, I have
It's a truck.
I have a truck. Yeah, it's not a Prius. You know what I mean? It's a truck.
It's pretty.
But my brother gets into my truck. He's like, dude, I love your truck. Dude, it's nice and big. He gets in. He's like, oh, man. And I was like, what? He's like, you got seashells on your dashboard. And I was like, so what? And my brother's like, that's pretty gay. And then he comes and he gets in. He's like, everything's great. I love the truck. He's like, oh, there it is.
It's like, there's got to be something to open the glove box. Where's your rainbow flag? And then it's like,
No,
oh,
we don't
you
do
got
that.
seashells. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got seashells. It's a pretty truck. I'll give you that. Well, somebody said you're the most straight gay guy I've ever seen.
I've gotten that since I came out.
I've
20
said
years.
that. I've said that about you. I was like, Aunt, if you were flamboyantly gay, we wouldn't be friends. I was like, it was so nice to be around you and you be normal. And normal in a sense, like
Ooh,
you're normal
he's
to
gonna
me.
Get so much heat for that whole
Yeah.
sentence. That
Oh,
whole-
that
It's
probably
true
will.
though.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
every gay man that I've ever been friends with has had the same personality. That's why I had to ask you, is it not common for gay men to protect women? Because all of my gay friends were scrappers. They were knockout artists and shit. So like there was none of that growing up. You made
Yeah.
a gay joke, you were getting your chin checked. Like
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, it was like that.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, right. So
True.
I had to ask because I don't know. I'm ignorant to that. But
Yeah.
I was going to make fun of you on the seashell thing. And then I was going to bring her into it because you should see her Jeep.
I mean, how like
You have seashells?
Tell them what you got in your console, babe.
Oh gosh,
it
I
ducks?
have no.
She doesn't have that kind of Jeep.
No.
Okay.
So there's a pine cone. There is.
But you found that when you were riding the bike, right?
No, that's actually one that our daughter gave to me.
Oh.
There's a pine cone. There's a heart-shaped rock that our son gave to me. There's leaves.
Okay.
There is a little tiny jar with some remnants from the Paris catacombs.
Oh.
Dirt.
Okay.
Earth?
I
Yeah.
like that. So, but does it make you feel like you're one with like Earth or something, or is it just things you've hold on, just things you like? I'm trying to figure
How
out.
did
So
you
have
answer
you?
that?
Because
Okay.
some people do it as like a spiritual thing, or like have you ever seen people go out? Okay, you guys are looking at me like I'm
Sounding gayer and
crazy.
gayer
Shut
as we-
up right now, okay? Do you like?
Does
do
it
you-
Your
make
looks
you
are
feel-
too loud. You need to calm
Oh
down.
my God, their looks are yelling at me. Do you go outside and put your bare feet on the dirt?
Yes.
Thank you. That's the type of situation I'm
Yeah.
talking
I would
about.
sleep in these right here.
Okay, well, sleep in them.
I don't go outside without shoes on ever.
Oh, I stand outside with no shoes and feel the wind
Get
and
connected.
feeling the rain sometimes
Connected.
when it's sprinkling.
This makes sense of why she has pine cones and dirt inside her car in jars.
So I have 360 view of my property. We have no blind spots. And I'm like walking through the house one day calling for, and it's funny because it's people give me shit for calling her woman, but I'm literally yelling woman through my house because she's not answering me.
Yeah.
So I go to the camera system. I'm like, all right, she's not in the house. Where is she? And she's laying in the middle of the fucking driveway, sprawled out. And I walk outside and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm being a lizard. I'm enjoying the sun. I'm like, all right, let me know when you're done. I went back inside. She's out there for like an hour like
I
that.
think this could be a viral video.
Yeah.
Her on
Especially if you can hear it. Can you hear her say that?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
that's
that would be
great.
so like I'm looking for my wife, and then here she's out here being a lizard.
yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, I feel
have
like I have to
seashells.
go back and touch on the gay.
I
thing,
wanted
so
to.
nobody-
I have one more thing. I know we're all over the place, but what I wanted to say about the gay thing and the gay friend, right? We were raised in a different generation where like I even fought it because I was like, I want to get married and have kids. and
Right.
I fought that, and I had the empathy for my father as like I know what he must feel as his oldest son just came out as gay. I need to give him some time because I crushed everything that he had planned for me as his son, like grandbabies,
his
marriage.
reality.
Correct.
Yeah.
His
And
reality changes as much as yours.
I don't. The problem with now and then is now they demand kids and these people coming out now, they demand automatically that you gain that respect. You don't respect me for coming out, I'm leaving.
Joke's on you. I didn't respect you before. You gotta earn that shit.
Right, exactly. And so I was like, listen, I get it. We're gonna take the time that you need.
Right.
I get what that must have been like. But going out with my girlfriends, if I was out with her and y'all weren't there, it was just her and another man was trying to hit on her, I would automatically take the role of her man. Like, to protect her, I'd be like, no, we're good here, dude. Like, no, she's with me. We're good. And then we would have that conversation and be like, yo, bro, just let you know, like, she was my woman for a minute because a guy came up to us.
Right.
And now she's dating me now. And I think that's okay. That if that's what it takes, if you're a gay man that can't do the violence thing, but you can take it to a different way and be like, yeah, no, we're good. Like we're together.
I think you have the nature of man and the responsibility of man, whether you're gay or not.
I agree.
I agree.
Too.
So,
I agree.
But to go back to where when I use the words normal, like acting normal, I don't want anybody to trip out over this.
They already will.
It's like anything non-flamboyant to me.
Yeah.
You know, because even for a woman, they don't act like that.
Right.
You know?
You're exaggerating a woman's traits
I've
or
never
something.
seen a woman exaggerate like their walk and their talk, and it's this and it's that and it's this and it's.
You do that really well.
But you don't see women do it.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
do.
it's not like
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I don't like.
No, you do the impersonation well is what I'm saying. You could be
No, I'm saying that you do see women do that shit.
Where are we seeing these
You're just
women
seeing it in different cultures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They do say that gay men act like black women, or like
Okay,
they embody the personality of a black woman. I agree. I probably maybe in a different life I probably was a black woman because I do act super sassy. Like it's just natural.
Yeah.
But a lot of them make that their entire personality.
Right.
Whereas like now they took it a step further. Now it's a bearded guy wearing makeup and now he's got to put on press-ons because he acts extra flamboyant. Now if that's your thing, great. I don't understand it. That's fine. Call me a bad gay guy. I don't know. But like I value the masculine parts of dudes. We talk about the household for me. I'm the homemaker. So I do the laundry. I take care of the house. I clean because I know that my man is out and he has to do work outside the house. So when he comes home, by default, in my mind, all that stuff should be done for him already because he was out working. I'm home. I don't expect him to come home and start washing the floors and vacuuming and, it
keeps his house pretty clean too.
Yeah.
It's a traditional mentality though, right?
He wiped down and washed the whole stove with soap this morning because Jimmy cooked on it last night at 3 a.m. I imagine there was grease
I
on it.
wasn't going to clean at 3 in the
But
morning.
he was down like cleaning the whole stove, and I was like, yeah.
Just while I'm having a conversation with him.
I was like, you're cleaning that like a man.
No, that was the gay
it's-
part of me. That was the gay ant came out in that one.
We're actually going to film a video. Should I tell them about the idea?
Yeah,
that they can add to
yeah,
it?
because the video already, that video already.
Yeah, because it was
done.
Because he catches a lot of flack for being gay in the conservative movement. I'm not a gatekeeper to straight or gay. I don't care if you're gay and nobody likes you. Sorry, nobody likes you because you're gay. If you're straight and people don't like you, don't like you. So they like you or they don't. So that's kind of where I'm at with the whole gay thing, the gay in the conservative movement. So we were thinking it would be funny to make a video where it's just like we're going to try to ungay you a little bit. What would be the word? Like
So we're gonna
straighten you up a little bit. And I was going to be his straight guy coach. And it was going to be
And
funny.
so anything that I did that was like feminine, like then you'll see Blake come in and he'll be like, dude,
No, stop. We don't
that's
sit
not
down.
how you
when
do it
we
like
eat.
this. That was a good idea from,
So
yeah.
like we're going to try it out and just see, because the conservative movement sometimes takes things to the extreme about how to treat a gay conservative. I'm like, just treat him normal. Like the voice of reason is needed, whether it's got a high pitch to it or not. You know, his voice is a voice of reason. Let it be heard. You know, if you don't want him on your stage at CPAC, don't put him on it. He'll be okay. He's got a bigger platform than most people. It's like he will find a way to talk on his own. I'm not going to gatekeep for him.
Right.
If somebody was to call me and be like, I don't like him because he's gay, I'd be like, great, don't care. You know, I don't like or dislike him for his gayness.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I like Ant. I love the voice of reason. I like when I say normal. I like that when I'm around him. He's not like whatever. He talks to me like a man. Sorry. You do. You know, it's like it's...
Well, there's an important distinction in that, too, because you can be talking to a straight man and him not talk to you like a man.
Yeah.
Like, so for me to have that title of a man is a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Right? That's not something that all males are afforded, in my opinion.
You're right.
So
I agree.
That's a good way to look at that.
if you guys do the sitting down to pee thing, the best way to do that, since you don't want to get demonetized or kicked off TikTok, is to just walk into the bathroom after him with the toilet seat down and be like, I thought you only peed.
That's what we planned. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what we planned. No, I already know. Yeah.
So
It was
so
gonna be me before I'm like sitting down, so I'm like gonna walk into the
like
bathroom
turn
and be
around
like,
backwards.
yeah. And then he's
Be like, whoa,
and then
what
he's
are
just
you
gonna pop up and be like, whoa.
Are you pooping?
Are you can't sit down me. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then like turn around.
But we kind of want to make a mockery out of it because it's like that's how some of the conservatives approach
Yeah.
Do they
a
really?
gay conservative. It's
Yeah.
almost like they're so much different than us. I'm like, they're really not.
Well, here's what the irony is in the entire thing. So that conservative that doesn't want gay people within the movement, okay? They're the ones who are screaming from the top of the hills, oh my God, don't talk to people about sex. Whatever you do is your business, right? But then in the same breath, they're saying things to me like, what's so conservative about gay sex? Or what's so conservative about X, Y, and Z that you do in the bedroom? Hold on. I don't understand why you're so obsessed with what I'm doing in the bedroom. I thought your whole shtick was that you didn't want to know what people are doing in the bedroom. That's not your business. Keep it out of our business and so forth and the other, right? They're also thinking that they are higher than everybody else and nothing that they do in their life, whether it's sexually or emotionally or the way they dress, they are above that. In my opinion, if you're not dressed up like a nun, don't talk to me about what I'm doing, baby.
Right.
There's only one reason that this happens for you, and because you never see them go after gay conservatives that aren't using their voice. It comes at you because your platform is bigger than theirs, and it's like I have to attack him on something, and then so it'll like their argument is whittled down to how conservative is it to be gay in this movement, but you never see them say that about gay people that are conservative in general. It's always you got to attack the bigger creators that are gay. And it's like
Sounds petty to me.
Yeah, it's like I see what you're doing. Like you live
Exhausting to me.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Well, but if they're not doing it to him, they're going to do it to this person. If they're not doing it to this person, so they're going to find something. And the reason why is because their numbers are small. And I'm telling you, when a man feels insufficient in any way, he lashes out. And that's exactly what you see with these men being petty on social media. It's just like you don't find very much significance in your own life, so you have to attack the things about him that you don't find significant. Or whatever that, like you see it on social media when people attack each other. It's like, that's the most petty thing a man can do to another man. Like the dude that talked about my beard the other day.
That's been bothering him. Obviously, you brought it back.
It bothers me
like your
because like what happened to men being men? Like why are we talking about my facial hair? Like,
Right.
Say
it's not
something.
a man thing to talk about, right?
It's to me.
A critique.
I mean, there is it's real shit in like the men who have beards community. There is a hierarchy, and like men take their beard grooming way too fucking serious. It's a hipster thing. I didn't know this was a thing until we got a barbershop next to the tattoo shop, and some of those men take that shit a little too serious. Like it's
I don't think
facial hair, bro.
We need
I
to
think
bring back the Hunger Games.
I think
but
the
for
problem
adults.
would be if I'm talking about another man's beard, it's only to compliment it.
Right.
I've never looked at like a feature of another man and be like, hey, nice. Unless you bring it to you come at me like that guy did, and he's got a cigar and he's got his white beard and goatee. Look good, completely bald. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I don't smoke cigars, guys.
I just looked at Chris and I was like,
he had his leather jacket on, and I was like,
so he was
like,
Danny Zuko, but now.
I was like, look at you. He reminded me of like the show Wild Hogs, the movie Wild Hogs. So I started going at him on that. I was like, yeah, you look tough, sons of arthritis, like. But I'm like, if we're gonna do this, because I was never talking about you until you come at my beard, and I was like, I said bikes on bikes or something. Like I was like, your gang name would be, and I just went at it. I was like, I don't feel manly doing
that term.
Huh?
I remember when I was going to Pride, Dykes on Bikes was like the highlight of the entire Pride parade.
Or you want to talk about how different the Pride shit has become? Do you remember when they changed it from nursing to breastfeeding and how big of a deal that was?
Yes.
Now you can't say breastfeeding. Where did all of that energy go?
Is it what do you call
Chest feeding now.
Okay. I know Pete Buttigieg likes to chest feed. It's super weird to me.
Yeah. So that's why that's a thing. Because men are now.
Yeah, because they put on that trough on
Is
that
it
chest.
still not breast though?
No, it's
nobody's feeding them from
it's
their
a
knees.
hamster thing. What do you feed hamsters? Like when you put that thing in their cage,
Just a,
they
A drop
basically
feeder.
they basically put that in a bra, and now men are feeding children, babies. I think. Or hamsters.
I never really even want to entertain the conversation.
I don't
Like,
either,
It's like it's,
man.
to me, it's such a bizarre mental health issue to me for a man to want to take a baby and
I agree.
breastfeed them. Like, to me, that's the weirdest thing in the world. Like, I can't wrap my head around why a grown man would want that experience, because I'm like, it's not in our nature to want that. So it's so beyond me to it's so not normal to me.
I to answer your question, I think that men and women have very different roles in what they're supposed to be as a parent. And I get a lot of flame and hate from people because I don't think that men have the same connection to their children that a woman does ever.
None.
And like that's why men can give, birth, have multiple kids and never see them and never think twice about it. Like they might think about their kids as they're old, but like they go about their lives. We don't have that connection. We have 15 minutes of playtime and
I
get to carry that baby for the next 9 months. And if I'm around, I'm around. Like it's not the same type of connection. So the only thing that I could think of in that is that maybe a man might be trying to understand that connection, but even that seems fucking weird to me. I know.
Because we even talked, I said, I want my son to carry my last name and create a legacy for himself, where a mom wants you to take a picture of that moment because she never wants to forget it. And I'm like, Emily's like, whip out your phone and take photos. I'm like, you whip out your phone and take photos. I want to see this with my own eyes right here, right now, and I won't worry about it tomorrow. And it's like, they're swimming. Well, they swam yesterday. Like, why are we taking pictures of them swimming again? Like that's the female part. It's such a mother instinct. It's in their nature.
Good point.
But for me, I'm like, I don't want a picture of him catching the ball. I just want him to be able to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Because it matters to them winning the game that they're playing. And you're like, it's not about winning. I'm like, yes, it is.
Yes,
it's like,
it fucking is.
We're so different. Yes. We're just so different. And I'm okay with that. I would never, ever want to put a baby's face up to my chest. I'm sorry. Like, that's not.
I would, we have a 4 and a 5-year-old, and when our son is ready to start playing sports, if there's any type of, we don't keep score and it's not about that, he's not playing that sport. Absolutely not.
Right.
You learn a lot by learning about winning and losing as a child. And it might hurt your feelings a little bit to lose, but how are you going to work harder next season to actually win, to know what it is to actually have that victory? Yeah. How are you going to learn like the true hard work of things? You're going to get to the point where you're 30 years old and you're living in your mom's basement because you never had that victory in life and you were okay with just being a participant. I'm not about that at all.
Right.
Not even a little bit. Let's move to business because we're an hour in of just
that went fast.
Getting it?
Remember I asked you what your favorite law was?
Yeah, I've been sitting here thinking about it, and I got to be honest, I read that book like 12 years ago.
Oh, that long ago.
Yeah.
We should do nightly readings together.
We can. I read I read 308 books last year from January to.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Audible is a fucking godsend.
So that's how you're consuming them fast.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's the only way I can retain it.
Yeah.
I can't even read the Bible. Like I can't retain shit if I read it. So much so that like if I'm building something and I have the instructions, I still go to YouTube. I have to hear
that
things.
way.
So when we're taking in scripture, she'll read it out loud.
Yeah.
Or if I'm like, I don't understand this, I need you to read this to me. I can read perfect. I just can't pay attention. I'll get into a book. I read all of the Game of Thrones books on paper, but I would have to go back 4 or 5 pages because I would be thinking about business or life. And like, I'm still reading and I'm not retaining. Mm-hmm. I'm reading the words. I know what's going on, but wait, what do you mean? What just happened? And I have to go back. My brain doesn't hold information.
See, that's why I feel like the movies are so important to go with it. But everybody that's a book person, like the books are so much better than the movie. I'm like, but to me, I could enjoy that book more after seeing it.
Right.
Because like you said, it's like you're retaining it. So like with scripture or with a book that I'm reading, sometimes it's easier for me to have it paraphrased out loud to understand the concept or the idea behind it. And it's always made it easier for me to remember the scripture, because I can write a sermon. I can write a sermon about it and retain all of it a whole lot better than I could just reading it.
Right.
So when I write a concept or something around what I'm reading, I can understand. That's why when we do content videos, we're like, how do you just spit it out so fast? It's like, because we understand the idea around what we're saying. So I could do a video 10 times and it'll never sound the same.
Yeah.
Because I understand the idea or the concept with what, if you told me to read something, then go to a camera and I can't do it.
I couldn't either.
I feel like I would be that way if I was in a movie. Like if I would read the script and like I would go, I would understand the idea of the situation and I would go basically on script, but I would use it in my own way.
Right.
And I think some of the best actors in our history probably have done a lot of that. You see a lot of stuff like this wasn't originally supposed to be said in a movie, and it's one of the biggest things in the movie that people still, recite.
Ad-libbing it. That's why the comedians are so way better at it. Because it's like, hey, if you three just get in the room, here's what we want the scene to do. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. Y'all just go do it. And it is. I just watched one on Instagram the other day where, there are two guys sitting there talking. They're like, this was not a script, but we kept it in the movie. And I was like, perfect. You got some of the best comedians in the world getting in the same room. Why would you script anything?
Right.
Some of the best content is just
conversations. That's why we don't. That's why I was like, I don't want to plan anything. Let's just get in there.
Yeah.
And talk.
That's what I love. Yeah, and that's what one of the 1,000 things that I love about being on this show is like I always say, we always just have normal conversations. It's just natural flow. Like we never say, what are we going to talk about before we go on? It's just there's so much to talk about in life.
Yeah, and I really could go anywhere. There's a lot of people don't know this, but there's so many layers to me, and that's not to say that is like patting me on. There really is. I'm talking from the happiest moments to the most hurtful moments of my life. There's so many layers to who I am, and it's like I can go any direction. If you want to talk about construction, we can talk about construction. But if you want to talk about, painful moments, we could do that too. Like I'm so comfortable around all of that because it is the life that I've lived. And you want to say something? What are you trying to sneak something out?
No, because I think you were really well known in faith. Like I think you should talk about that, like that part of your life, in what you did before, like in faith.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely get into that. I actually didn't even know who you were until he told me because I don't TikTok. I hate it. I fucking hate that app.
Yeah.
And I Instagram a little bit, but I like Instagram for photography because of what it was. And I'm a photographer, so like I want that or tattoos. But seeing that you're a business owner and a dad, and you're not just a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. Like that, a lot of young men need that. They don't have mentorships, and everybody wants to be a fucking coach. Nobody wants to be a mentor, and there's a very big difference. I can be a coach, say some motivational shit, go get them, team.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing as actually helping somebody reach that new level in life. It is a very different mindset to me, which is why I wanted to talk about that because you're 37 years old, and I only knew you as a construction guy. Like I knew you had your contracting license and a business and that. I didn't know that your wife had a business and a real estate license before you got here. So how did you come into that? Because most guys that get into the construction game either end up just being a worker, a drunk, or a drug addict.
Yeah. Well, I'll start from the birth of the entrepreneurship in our family. It was just because I was looking at my friends that had a lot nicer things, and I knew I wasn't going to go to college. I graduated high school and just kind of screwed off a little bit, and it's like, man, there's really nothing for people like me. I started out as a roofer. I worked for a guy for like $10, $12 an hour just roofing, and it seemed like we put our hands on just about everything. And next thing you know, I'm doing floors and laying tile in friends of mine houses that they're building, and they're constantly building houses, and they got the nicest trucks, and their houses are huge, and here I am broke, and I sold my wife on the idea that we were going to live this, grandiose lifestyle. Like I sold her the moon and the stars, or else she wouldn't have been with me. You know what I mean? Like I had to let her know that, hey, great things are on its way. Just give me a try, give me a chance. And I promise you, I'm gonna.
Yeah, because she's beautiful. I don't know.
We couldn't have let that one go. So I was a loser, and I had to sell her on this idea. But so the whole time I was like, I need more. Huh?
Do you believe that?
What?
That you were a loser?
At the time, yeah. Oh, absolutely. When we're talking about masculinity, what it meant to be a man, the responsibility of man, yeah. Like I would have never let, If I was her dad, I would have never let her date me. There's no way, because we stayed drunk all the time. We partied all the time. It was aimless. You know, we had no goals. There was no nothing. And so I would never let my daughters date the guy I was at 20. But I also knew I had potential, and I knew eventually I would get away from the immaturity and I would level up a little bit. And then so we started going to church together. And so all these guys that I was around all the time, they're, you know, like, I love the way they were with their kids. I love the way they were with their spouse. I love the cars they drove and everything. And I was like, I want this lifestyle too. And so I went to one of my buddies and I said, hey, we were putting some chairs together at the church, and I just looked at him and I was real honest. And I said, how do I obtain your lifestyle? And he said, this is what he said. I said, because I want to do what you do. I said, so how do I get started? And this is the best advice I ever heard in my life from one man to another. He said, just do it. And I was like, what do you mean just do it? I said, it sounds easier said than done, you know? And he goes, no, it ain't. He said, just go do it. And I went to Emily and I was like, oh, we're doing this. Shout out to Doug, by the way. Thank you for that advice. So I went to, we found a house to buy. It was like $12,000 and we were going to renovate it. Well, in the process of renovating this house, we ended up knocking it completely off of the foundation because the foundation was horrible. And I was like, oh man, I got $55,000 to build a new house where this one once stood. And so we did it all. And because I had all the experience and I'm doing the sheetrock, I'm doing everything that I can possibly do, we built the house, put some of our own money in. I think we're 65 in it. And we turned around and sold it for 94 and we made a little bit of money. And I was like, oh, it is right. Hey, just do it. Made all the sense in the world. Just do it. So we did it again and we did it again and we did it again. And we're living in nice homes, cheaper than most people would buy a home. And I'm like, this is the way to go. This is absolutely the way to go. So I think what birthed it in my life was just looking at someone else's life and going, I want that too. I'm not offering her anything. I'm not offering the world anything. I'm kind of just, when you were talking about the construction guys that end up on drugs or drunk or whatever, I was the one that was getting my paycheck and going and buying beer with it. And then I was broke again by Wednesday, needing picked up from the boss, you know, like, hey, will you pick me up? I don't have no gas, you know? So it was like that. So was I a loser? I thought so, you know, so I needed to do something. I needed to show her dad that, hey, you allowed her to marry a man. I need to change this. So was that what you were looking for?
No, but that was a really good answer, and I got a lot from that. I want to touch on a couple of them. Would you say that your wife was your catalyst for change?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you changed for a woman.
Yeah. Well, it was to me, it seemed like it was a necessity.
Yeah, it is.
Know? So it's not. I didn't change. Okay, I can say it like this: not because of her, but for her.
Right.
You know. So, but to me too. It's all kind of happening at the same time. Maturity, growing up. This is what needs to be done. Hey, you're 20 something now. Like let's grow up. So I would say yes. And is that like for her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you said that all your friends already had nice shit, and you were wanting that life, but until you were like, I gotta do this to show her that I'm gonna give her everything I promised her. Like that is a catalyst. It's amazing what having somebody in your corner that believes in you, that you want to be that motherfucker for, will do for you. Like it will light a fire under you, and you will get it a whole lot different than you were before, because now you've got somebody that you respect and love and admire looking at you. Yeah. So
now we have kids to do that for. So
right.
You know, and we try to tell them along the way the whole time, hey, we're doing this not for us anymore.
Right.
We're doing this for you. And I will never push college on you. I will push entrepreneurship on you for sure. Because I would love to have it to where it's like, son, I can give you this $40,000 that we've saved up for you to do this, that, or the other, or me and you can build a spec home together and sell it, and we'll split the profits. What do you want me to do with your $40,000?
Right.
I can teach you how to turn this into $120,000, or you can go buy your car with it, whatever you want to do. But just know the choice that you make right now will change the rest of your life.
Yeah, I can give you a fish, or I can teach you to fish.
Yeah, you will have a nice car for $40,000, absolutely. But can you imagine having this $40,000 tripled
Yeah, it's a great lesson.
And that's I really want my kids to understand that.
Do you think that I'm a huge believer that your partner that you're with can either make or break you as a person.
1,000%.
And so they can either root for you and give you the space to do that, or they can be a weight and always have a problem with something that you do. So do you think that Emily she must have been that for you?
She's both hindered me before and helped me before.
Okay.
So going back to the scripture where the Bible says, talking about being equally yoked, it's not always just y'all believe the same thing, but it's y'all move in unison. Like you move together, and I don't think you can move separate from each other and it work out. I really don't. I don't think the field gets plowed if two oxen are not equally yoked.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing in life. I don't care if it's a business partner or a spouse or even your children. If you're not moving together as a unit, it's chaos. It's a train wreck. You're not going to get where you're going. So I know the times that I've had to look at her and be like, hey, I'm completely leaning on you and moving the way you move. When I move, you move just like that.
Yeah. I was going to say
when I dip, you dip, we dip. Yeah. Like it has to be that or it's not going to work. Remember last night me dancing on that floor?
Yeah.
I was the only one that didn't look like everybody else.
I know. I love that about you.
I can be in my own world and be fine with it, but if you ask me, Blake, were you square dancing with everybody else? The answer is no.
Yeah.
And I stuck out like a sore thumb because there was nobody moving in unison. So, who asked it? You asked it. She's also hindered me before too.
Yeah.
Because she's not in agreement with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So with content creation stuff or whatever, she's not into it. She don't want to be on video. Y'all are doing it together, and I love y'all stuff together. But she's like, I don't want to be on camera. That hinders my thought process. Like, I want this video. I want to do all this. And then while we're doing the video, you could just tell it in her face. She don't care to be doing it. I'm like, why?
So you want her to do that with you?
Yeah, I want you to want to do it. Like,
but
even if you're not great.
She lets you do it, though. Huh? She lets you do it.
She lets me, but that's not the same as moving in unison.
Yeah.
That's just, you're moving by yourself.
I just think that, so I was just on a friend of ours show not too long ago, and the couple conversation came up. And I just think that my couple situation and y'all's couple situation are different. I think women hold such a power.
Yeah.
They can either make a man or destroy him.
They got all the power, bro.
It's exactly what I'm saying.
That's biblical, though.
Yeah.
And I don't know about your faith
I just
I
don't like the women that destroy their men.
Right.
the men's individuality. I respect the women that lift their men and they're like, yes, this is what you want to do, go do it, as you would for them.
Yeah, it takes all it takes, this is how powerful women are. It takes one word. One word, you can destroy my whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One moment of disrespect ruins my whole day. One moment where you don't believe in what I'm doing ruins my whole day. So it's like, that's how much a man needs a woman. Sorry. That's how much a man needs a woman. Oh, no,
it's a different dynamic. That's why I say it, because I have no business talking about a man and woman's relationship, really, because mine is different in its own way. Two men together, two women together, whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
There's a whole different balance of emotion and non-emotions that doesn't come from, a man and a woman together. Yeah. So, and I'm learning this, too, but
because Emily's going to watch this, I also have to say this. She don't hinder me in the overall picture of our marriage.
Just to get that out there, Emily.
Just what I was meaning is just every little facet of a relationship. And one of ours is my husband's a content creator. She's not a part of it. There's a little hindrance there. You get what I'm saying.
Right. Not really in like a big deal.
It's not a big
deal.
Because if you said describe your household, I would say well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
We're moving. But I'm, like my daughter does gymnastics. I don't do backflips. You know what I mean? Like everybody can have their own individual thing, but as a family unit, we are moving this direction. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, he just dogged his wife. I didn't. But I know where she hinders and I know where she helps for sure. It's that important to us.
We talk about this a lot actually, in the gratitude things. And you were saying that one thing, one bit of disrespect or one little disbelief in you can ruin your entire day. We've had so many conversations about how she's come up to me and been like, look, I know that you're going through it and I'm proud of you for not like letting the mental illness win today. Or we just made X amount of dollars today. That check just hit the bank. Thank you for all the work that you do. That little bit of gratitude goes
huge.
so fucking far. Cause I'm like, well, I mean, it was only 20 grand. I could make 40.
That's what I'm saying. It doubles your money. That one word or that one thing that you said to him doubles your money.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say earlier, have you read Manhood by Josh Hawley? The senator actually wrote a book called Manhood. And the entire book is based off of Genesis and the way that we are supposed to interact with our wives. And he broke it down in a way that was like, God created Adam, and Adam had a dominion over plants and animals, and he was naming things, and he was struggling. He was like, I'm going to give you a woman. And he's like, that's a platypus, that's a hippopotamus. And as soon as the woman came up, he's like, let me show you what I can do.
Yeah.
Right? And they're supposed to be our support system in that. And like, when you get a good woman, a good man is going to work that much harder. She tells me anything. Like, if I'm like, I think I can do this, and she's like, oh, I know you can. Game on.
Yeah, that's that's
Yeah.
the fuel you needed. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
It doesn't take much. You're right. It's a single sentence or a word.
Yeah.
Thank
Go.
you for working hard today. Like, or I know it was cold outside.
Yeah.
And you had to work outside, and you come in muddy, dirty, whatever, and it's like, thank you for that.
Yeah. Instead of, don't step on my floor, I just cleaned. Right? There's a difference
Yeah.
there.
As soon as you walk in, I just mopped the floor. That like the one thing that it would destroy a day just like that. You mean I
You'd be like,
worked
"Are you
all
kidding?"
day?
Yeah.
I worked all day, and the first thing you say, and guess what, guys? We do it to them too. You know, like my wife works hard all day, and then come home, it's like, what's for dinner? Worst. Whoops.
Oh, that's the worst thing.
Yeah, like, it's your job. You couldn't have, like, my bad. Like, yikes.
Well,
Messed that one up.
we all speak out of turn, or misspeak. I mean, it's a human thing.
The thing that kills most relationships, though, is a familiarity.
Yeah.
Friendships, families, it's that familiarity. And because you're so familiar with them getting up and going to work, or you're so familiar with them cooking or whatever, it's like it creates an expectancy.
Yep.
And when you expect something and it doesn't happen, it's so easy to go, hey, what about? Or did you? Or hey, don't forget. And all you want to hear is, hey, thank you for working so hard today. And that's all it takes. I'm the worst at it. So I know she's going to watch this and be like, yeah, you talking all that crap. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm the worst. I'm the worst at it.
Right.
And it's just like, I wish it was easy for me to give out the thing that I need so much. You would think I would, but it's so easy. It's because you're so familiar, and you just get caught up in the mundane, the routine, the whatever. And it's just like, hey, like, you hurt her feelings, but she didn't communicate it, so you didn't know you hurt her feelings, so you say it again, and then it's like a whole life, like your whole life becomes...
That's why I can't deal with women. I give y'all props. It's because I can't deal with the emotion. I could be friends with women. I love women as women to be friends with. I don't want to deal with their emotions. Like, because because I don't, women... Also, as men expecting something, women also expect a dynamic as well. And so that's why I say it's so different in my relationships than it is in y'all's relationships.
But I would also say it's hard for me to deal with an emotional man.
Well, there are emotional men.
Because
I agree.
So for certain women, certain emotions, communicated emotions, are to be expected. But it baffles me to be around an insecure man. Like, I can't, like, it makes my skin crawl. And then because I'm like, I got to battle my own. I don't want to battle yours too.
You think men hide their insecurities a lot?
Well, yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I don't either.
Because I'm trying to not give a personal situation. But like even with my kids don't know me as the emotional train wreck. Even if I don't have it all together up here, I would never allow my kids to see me not have it all together, because my responsibility is to have it all together.
Your kids look at you as the pillar of your household.
Yeah.
And if your pillar is broken and cracked and weak on its foundation, what are your kids going to look at you as the pillar?
Yeah.
You are not holding this fucking house up. It's going to take one bad breakdown for this entire shit to collapse.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's only one person in my house that gets to see the cracks. In the
Your
pillar,
wife.
and that's the wife.
Yep.
Because you got exactly what I need to patch this thing.
Right.
Like, we are now one. You know, like, you patch these cracks.
Yeah.
But here they are. You know, but it's not my kids' responsibility to patch cracks. It's not my kids. I don't want my kids to hear we don't have money this week.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to hear, you know, anything that's negative in that sense. Like, this is adult life.
Yeah.
What do you
Just be the kid.
So then what do you say to people who say that you not giving your kids those interactions is taking away their ability to learn how to problem solve?
No,
Because I hear that every single time we post a video like that. Do you get that on your page too?
No, I don't. If I did, though, my answer would be they are not at an age where they can process adult issues.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so weird. We post the same shit and she gets very different interactions.
She
than I
might
do.
have a different, actually kind of some different followers.
What did I say about my kids on the way over here? I said these kids are street smart.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because every decision they make, it has to be a process decision. Why? Why did you say that? Why do you feel that way? Or
Well, I
what made
took
you
your
choose
street
that?
smart differently than what you said it
Yeah,
was.
my kids ain't out being dope dealers. I'm just saying, like,
That's how
they understand life.
Correct.
As
The
it
way you
as
parent.
it happens to them, they understand it. So I don't want. So if my kid walks up and says, "Hey, can I get a snack?" Well, the answer would be yes. Dinner's in 2 hours. I'm gonna let you choose. Who gonna be upset that you got a snack? Not me. Mommy will. Let's think about this together. Is it smart for you to snack right now, knowing the answer from mom is no, but you come and ask me? Let's go ahead. She's in charge here.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's like processes. You're right. I'll wait. Good choice. You know, so that's how you do it. Mm-hmm. You know, because I said this the other day to a friend. I would never give a full steak to my child without cutting it up. But as they get older, and like you said, as they're able to handle certain things, you stop cutting that steak for them.
Right.
They can cut it on their own now. But I'm telling you, my 6-year-old does not need to know a daggum thing about my adult life, other than the responsibility of my adult life is to protect, to take care of. Mommy's is to nurture, to do this and do that. That's the only thing you need to know. You know where it's coming from. It's coming from us. That's all you need to know.
There's a book by William Glasser called Choice Theory that we've promoted like crazy on this podcast over the last year. And the way that you parent your children, the way that you just laid all of that out is choice theory in practice. And they're saying that when it comes to real life, they call it reality therapy when it's in practice. They're saying that is the way to handle your children moving forward at any age, because as they start learning decision-making skills, they learn that their choices have an outcome, right? So like when you present them with the ability to make a decision that could impact their life, they have to live with the consequences of it. Yeah, it's dope shit. You touched on the faith thing. What was that about? What did I miss there? Because I didn't know you had a faith background.
I got a long line of pastors in my family, musicians, worship leaders, church. Like everybody's been involved in church my entire life. So I grew up in it. And then when I decided that I was going to grow up and change, obviously it's something I came back to, because the way that I was living, I needed that strict, harsh, like these are the do's and these are the don'ts. You know, I needed that. I don't think that everybody needs that. I did. I needed that spiritual structure in my life. I needed to be guided by more than just, you know, culture, or needed to be guided more than just what my parents said. I was like, I need some spiritual guidance at this point in my life. So this is when we were just getting married. This is when, you know, I was being surrounded by the men I wanted to be like now. So I'm putting myself in different, under different leaders, I guess, that I wanted to be like. And so life just started changing for the better at that point. And
I wanted that part of you because of how much I respect you, because you know, faith has come to the forefront a lot lately, especially with the political atmosphere and what we're seeing, and what we talked about earlier about the hate that I get from some far right Christians and stuff like that. Is because you what faith you have, or however you lead your life, you don't judge others. You really do live by the words that I wish some Christians actually lived by. And I think that having faith is important in structuring somebody, in my opinion, and their life, whatever faith that may be. It doesn't have to be Christianity. It could be any. I just think it gives a level of structure to a person. And so that's why I just wanted people to hear a piece of that from you.
Yeah, I think it's easy for me to not judge you because I know myself.
Right.
You know, like, I don't care about you. Like, I'll judge me way harder than I can judge you, and I'm the worst of them. You know, so it's like, as long as I can still be truthful to myself and see myself as, like, this is who you are without Christ, why do I care?
Right.
You know how I feel about what the scripture
yeah.
says. But that's never a conversation that I would have out loud. That's something I've called you on the phone and said, Aunt, this is how I feel about that. You know, we still move forward. This is how I feel. I love you more than anybody else. I will love you more than anybody else. Right. You know, and so, but it's because though, I think I can see myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? Why would I judge you?
Yeah.
Why would I judge you? Well, I mean, it's just biblical principles, but you know, like, don't worry about the speck in someone else's eye while you got a log or a plank in your own. And I feel like that is so true. Like, Christians have gotten so far away from their ability to see their own sins. And I'm like, hey, God hates sin. So do you. So do I. But here's my responsibility. I'm going to hate mine first. Right. And until I can get that worked out, why in the world would I spend any ounce of my energy on yours?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be standing next to you when you meet Jesus. You work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, the Bible says, and I'll just be over here chilling, working on mine, and I know what my faults are. I'm telling you, I know what mine are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it would be way too easy. It'd be way too easy for me to just point his out. Right. You know, the whole world can point that out because you've made it known that I'm gay. You've made it known. Guess what? All the people judging you, they don't make theirs known.
Right.
And so this is why I think it's so important for you to have the self-awareness to look in the mirror and call yourself out. And as long as you're doing that, I'm telling you, you won't do it to nobody else because you'll realize how much you suck.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, that's a big part of our podcast too, is accountability, personal growth. On all of that, I know, like, I've studied the scriptures, and like, my family's super religious, and we have our faith, and I can't think of anywhere in the Bible where it says to hate someone. Right. Yeah. But it does say to hate the sin, love the person. So people's private lives or their personal lives is none of my fucking business, dude. And like, there's a lot of things in my life that I have to correct every single day. So you're right. It does come down to being self-aware. And when you are self-aware and you know your flaws and know you got to work to do, who are you to point your finger at anyone?
Yeah. Well, and just to take the opportunity to share the gospel a little bit, what does the Bible say? What does the Bible say? That while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. While we were doing it, you know what I mean? And so it's like, what do you think that aspect of Christ has changed? Right. Oh, you gave your life to the Lord? He's off the clock now? No. No, it's not that. Matter of fact, it's like, how much further would he go for you now? Right. You know, we're talking about if you're looking at the story of the prodigal son, what was the father doing? He was waiting for the son to come home. Son was out in pig slop. Where was the father? He was waiting. Yeah. And the Bible says that when he saw him a long ways off, what does that tell you? He was waiting. And it's the same. It's the same now. Like, and so many Christians focus so hard on being the older brother that's upset that the younger brother come home and got the fatted calf, the ring, and the robe. Like, you're so upset about Aunt being gay, and you have a hateful pride issue. And when you're talking about deadly sins, that's one of them, right along next to the one they accuse you of.
That's true.
He hates it just as much. He hates pride just as much. And it's just like, oh my gosh, if we could all get to this place in life where we say we need him regardless, because you can't do it on your own. Because if you could do it on your own, what would be the point in Jesus ever coming down to begin with? Yeah. What would be the point? What would be the point? What's the point of salvation? What's the point of the blood of Christ? What's the point in all that? That's a huge going out of your way for nothing if it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, it's like you need it. You need it. The Apostle Paul, one of the greatest, says, hey, the things I don't want to do, I do. The things I want to do, I don't end up doing. Like, I'm the worst of all of you. And it's like, bro, you wrote majority of the New Testament.
Yeah, he did.
And it's like, and you're telling us that you got it wrong. It's like, man, if you can't get it right, we are not going to be able to get it right. And it's just like the ones that can say, well, here's this moral high horse that I choose to ride on. Man, your secret life, your secret sin, God's not duped.
Yeah.
We are. Like some of the people that come at you online, like, you've duped us all, but there's only one that you can't. And to think that you can live a life without the grace and mercy of God, to think that you can live without it, man, you're in bad shape. So that's why I can go have a friendship with you and not judge you, because I'm like, I see myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you being gay is the only thing they know about you.
Right.
And they know about the 20 of their own personal ones, but they rather talk about yours, not me, because I don't want to get caught up in that, thinking that I'm better, because I don't want to find out. I don't want to be the one that meets Jesus to find out that I was wrong the whole time.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that people are so quick to say that he died for my sins, but not his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said, you don't go to hell for being gay. You don't go to hell for being a drunk. You don't go to hell for having for hating your neighbor. You go to hell because you've yet to accept the name of Christ.
Right.
That's why you go to hell. You can simply live eternity with Jesus, because the Bible says those who believe upon the name of Christ will be saved. Believe in him. Believe in this man named Jesus. Now, because you believe in Jesus, certain things in your life will change.
Yep.
That's a biblical principle as well. You can be washed in the water of the word, the Bible says. Have your mind renewed by the reading of the word, the Bible says. But at the same time, I would never look at somebody and be like, that right there, buddy, brother, take you to hell. You go
That's the
faster.
exact accent.
Hell in a handbasket, oh my God.
Yeah, that's the exact accent that I read those in.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Can you try that? Can I hear it?
Well, boy, I think you're a little bit gay, and I think that the Lord, you should die in a fiery, burning hell, whatever lake that they came from. Repent! I always see repent, and I'm like, all right, I did, so I'm bored.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a need for repentance. Obviously, there's a need for all that stuff, but I cannot use that as a weapon.
Right.
I don't get to use that truth as a weapon. I get to use that truth as guide rails and guards for myself. Like, I want to live this life. I don't get to live your life. If you want to choose to go your way the rest of your life, go it. That's on you.
I think that the way that this is, the conversation is being had now is important. And the reason why it's important is because I feel that there's a group of people that are pushing people that don't have a faith.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go to that. Like, they don't want to accept Christ. They don't want to go into, like, because they're scared of, like, the extreme Christian, right? And they're like, wait a minute. They're going at this guy because he's saying this. They're telling him repent, and they're no better than him. Well, why would I want to be part of that?
Right.
Like, why would I? It's like, and I'm like, dude, y'all are not selling anybody your faith right now. Like, in a time that we all need that, I think so much more now than we ever did before. It's counterproductive.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly could say I was part of that problem at one point in my life, and the thing that I feel like it pulled me out of that was the fact that, just kind of like what I was saying a while ago, is I realized who I was.
I think you need to talk to some of the social media content creators that we have out there that are.
This podcast might be the only time you hear me talking like this.
I know. I know.
And
I wish you would. Yeah, I get it. It because you've put even a little bit more faith back in me just now by the way you're saying it, as opposed to what I see a lot right now on the internet from a lot of some big conservative voices that really turned me off. I was almost religiously lost for a minute, because I was like, man, I was raised a Roman Catholic.
I wouldn't let you stay there.
I
remember one of your beefs. I called you.
Yeah,
and I said, let me speak to you as a real Christian should have.
Yeah.
And then I laid it all out there, and from my perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just wanted to cancel out the voices that he was hearing and believing. So I was just like, it's not a conversation I wanted to have.
I know.
But I called him up, and I was like, Ant, I'm going to give you my perspective on this. And I told him, and we had a good conversation. We we had a good talk. So even for the people that look at our friendship and go, well, Blake, and it's like, you don't know what we talk about.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and we could probably sum this up with this, and I would say that it is clear to me that Christ had to come. I'm so convinced that Christ had to come, and it's the Son of God became the Son of Men so that the sons of men could become the Son of God. You know, like we're only here for one reason. Or we're only here because of one reason. We only get to heaven because of one reason, and it's not us, and it's not my good deeds, and I can't be good enough. You know, I cannot be good enough, and it blows me away the people that approach you online talk to you as if they're good enough. That's to me the scariest place. I would never want to be there. I used to think like that. But to me, the scariest mindset is the one that says, I don't need God to be good, or I don't need God to perform well. I don't need God. I have to have it because I suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so that's the only thing that bugs me in the conservative movement is like, who do you think you are?
Well, and who made them the gatekeepers of conservatives?
Nobody is.
Right.
I read their stuff. I see their stuff. It's like, you're not gatekeeping for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? The only thing that you're doing is you're convincing the people that are just like you to be more like it.
Right.
And to keep doing it because it matters. The Westboro Baptist style church,
yes.
Like we're just going to hammer fist everybody into the ground. But people like me, we sit back and I go, man, I'm so glad the relationship that I have with God has led me to know this one thing: I suck without Him. Suck.
I got the chills on that one.
The Bible says that He's an advocate on our behalf to the Father. Who's His Father? It's God. So Jesus is up in heaven making intercession for me and advocating for me. I
know Blake did this, but listen to God.
Yeah. I got a pretty good lawyer in heaven. Yeah. You know what I mean? So but back to this, because I don't want nobody to be confused. I don't want nobody to be confused about this. I know who I am. Mm. On both sides of this coin. I know who I am in Christ. And I also know the sin, flesh nature of Blake Reynolds. And I'm telling you, knowing both sides of those coins, that's what faith is. That's what, to me, that's what true Christianity is supposed to look like. I can love you right up close and personal.
Yeah.
They hate you from a distance.
It's really easy to do behind a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your wife is an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
How did that transpire?
So she was going to go to college. This is so funny because I feel like this is my fault. She was going to go to college, do pharmaceutical sales, and did I say that right? Pharmaceutical sales. She was going to do that, 4-year degree. She was one of the smart people at school. And we couldn't have dated at school. That wouldn't have made sense. You know, like you have to wait till you're out of school to catch somebody that's smart. So, tell you, I had to sell her on this one. But she was going to go on, do the college thing, the pharmaceutical sales, and I showed up. And then it was like, well, we'll go to this community college if we stay here. So she ended up going to community college for like a year. And then she's like, I think I'm going to go to hair school. And then she went to hair school. And it wasn't long after just paying booth rent to people that she was like, wow, I'd rather people pay booth rent to me. Rent for this building is only $700 a month. I'm paying $500 to $600 a month. Was it a month? Maybe a week? $300 a week? I don't remember what it was. But whatever it was, it didn't make sense to keep doing it that way. I was like, you should do your own. And she's like, you think so? And I'm like, yeah. Be a business owner. Like, let's do this. People be paying you booth rent. Sell shampoo. We'll do the whole thing. I can't talk about her business as if I've lived it and it's some awesome thing because she will talk about it much different. I think when you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner, you want to quit more than you want to keep going. So I think she's had a lot of that, but she's like one of the best, you know, around where we live at it. And it's like, keep doing your thing. You can go to work and one day make that kind of money. Like, good Lord, have mercy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot. Somebody paid you what? To do what? That is crazy to me. So like, I think when you get a taste of that type of thing, it's an easy decision to make. But she's always been like that. Christmas time, she'll make a wreath and sell it. You know, like it's just. I think for some people it has to be in your DNA, kind of. You know, I think that you can learn the skills of an entrepreneur, but that to have that drive, she's got more of a drive than I do. You know, I feel like I've taken an easy route. Hers, I feel like you have to market it and work for it. She did like some multi-level marketing, lip sense or whatever it was. And she had like the fastest growing team, $1 million team, like in just a matter of months. And I was like, I don't have that. So she has that. So we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her driving that whole thing. And I'm like, I'm too dumb to do anything else. So I was like, I'm only good at grabbing a camera and speaking in front of it, or I can build houses. And I'm like, I feel like I got the easy side of the thing. She's got the little bit harder. Then she wanted to become a real estate agent because she didn't want to see a percentage of our hard work go to somebody else. So she's like, I'm going to list them and I'm going to sell them. I'm like, you sure you want to?
Yay for her.
You want to go through that? So she took herself through real estate school and did all that. And I'm like, good God. And being a mom at the same time of 4 kids that we adopted, you know, and it's just like, so she's the rock star in the story. And like I said, I'll forever be maybe just the prop. In the grand scheme, like, hey, you're a good prop. Like, gee, maybe that's what I'm the trophy husband.
I don't know about that.
No, we work together. We work together good.
I build a pretty good dynamic.
Yeah.
I build it. I get it right to where like she comes in and decorates and picks out the floor, picks out the tile, picks out the ceiling fans and paint colors and do all that. So we work in tandem as far as that goes. So she just, that's just who she is. So I came in and just kind of like prompted it maybe a little sooner than we should have, because owning business is rough and y'all know that. But it was like, we were young and why not? Let's just take the opportunity. We don't have kids right now. We can do whatever we want. We can travel. We can do this. Let's make money. Let's just make money. There's certainly people better at it than me, you know, at like building houses and different things. It's just a way to survive out in this world that we live in.
Yeah, but you did it.
We did it.
And you did it. You just did it.
Yeah.
Right? Which was the advice that you gave everyone earlier on.
And so if somebody was like, hey, what do I do? And I tell this to people all the time because now they're asking me.
Yeah.
Man, I want to live a life like you. How do I do it? And I go, best advice I ever got, just do it. Man, I don't know how to build a house. I said, neither did I.
Yeah.
Neither did I.
I actually have a mentorship program that I offer through our Patreon. And right now I have, we just call it the men's group. We're on the 8th chapter of that. So it's been 8 months.
Yeah.
And I think there's 9 men in there currently. And all of them have either become entrepreneurs or they're leveling up at work or whatever. That's the whole point of them joining that is mentorship. And that's what I tell them. Every time one of them are like, I want to open a business. I'm okay. What do you want to open? Have you looked at your LLC yet? Have you looked into what it would take to get insurance and licensing? Do you have your tools? And if they're like, yeah, I've done all that. I'm like, cool. So what are you waiting on?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You just told me you know how to you start your LLC. You have your tools and you know the job. Right. Fuck are you waiting on? And I did that to Stephen Claudil, his name is Death Clan on our YouTube. So if you guys are listening to this on YouTube and you see his name in the chat, he sent an email when we were maybe a month and a half into the podcast, and he was like, hey, I need some advice on how to talk to my superiors because I'm in a position right now where I get to go talk to them about union stuff and I want to raise, but I get very nervous in speaking to people. I'm like, bro, you just wrote a stranger on the internet and laid out everything that you want to do. You go in there and you talk to them like you would talk to anyone else. People who are in positions of authority or famous or whatever you want to call them, they don't want people talking to them like they're hot shit. Right. It makes us fucking uncomfortable. Yeah. Right? So if you go in there and you see your boss there behind the counter and you think, oh my God, that's my boss. He's rich. I don't want to talk to him. He doesn't want to talk to you either.
Yeah.
You go in there, hey, Bob, how was the fishing trip this weekend? Catch something really cool. Okay, this is what we need to do at work. And you're not asking. You're telling him, we need this, 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 and this. He's going to, okay, this guy knows what the fuck is going on the ground.
Didn't we just
he needs this, 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 and this. Yeah. Here you go. There's that, and go. So he ended up getting a promotion, a big promotion. It wasn't like 3 or 5%. It was like 15 to 16% of a raise. Then they came back 2 months later and asked him if he would be the negotiator between the union and the business. And now he owns a solar company in 8 months.
Hell yeah.
And he has 4 employees and he's booked out into almost the end of the year.
Hell yeah.
So I think sometimes there's a lot of things that I want to do. And the reason I don't do them is because I know they succeed. And I don't know if I want to be tied to it.
I get that.
Oh, like I don't know if I want to be tied to it if it works.
Right.
You know, so it's like,
because you're creating a job for yourself.
Yeah, you're creating work, and it's a lot of work. So it's like, when we talk about t-shirt business, or when you talk about podcasts, or when you talk about whatever, it's like, I know what it takes to make it go good. I know that there's success on this. It's all about the work that you put in it. So people are like, why don't you do it? And I'm like, because it might succeed. And then I'm stuck there.
Yep.
And so it's not like, oh, Blake has this whole thing figured out and whatever. No, when I'm afraid of the success of something, that means I'm married to it now.
Yep.
And so sometimes I'm just sitting back. So people reach out to us on the internet all the time. Be a part of this. Do you want to do this? You want to be this? It's just like that will become my new life, my new identity, my new persona, my new everything. And I don't want it to, because there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline. We talked about this today. We're like, 2024 is going to be crazy for us. And I'm like, it's weird seeing the stars align, seeing the planets move where they need to move. Everything's just happening right. Why would I throw something in the way?
Yeah.
Whether it's good or not, you know what I mean? Like, it might be successful, but I'm like, it would be in the way.
You don't ever want to just invest in other people's dreams and get that mailbox money, though.
Watch this. See that bottle right there?
Yes.
When we walked in there and we picked that out, I went home and I said to my wife, I was like, I want to own half of this business.
Yeah.
I want to own it. I want to. Now, if he sees this, I'm sorry, I'm not, whatever. But in my mind, that's what I always think of. And I'm like, I want to bring the marketing. I want to bring this. I want to bring all this up to scale.
And then he just do it.
You still do your thing, but
Yeah.
just take my advice.
Yeah.
And I would love the mailbox money, but I wouldn't go start it.
Right. Right.
Because that's way too much work.
Right. But if somebody else has that passion and care,
Yeah.
I'm consulting now. It's funny that you mentioned the t-shirt thing, because I actually have consulting jobs for other businesses that I am doing basically what you just said. But I want to put other people who want those things in business, tell them how they need to run it because they already have the knowledge of how to do the job, show them that it's profitable, and then step back.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't want to open any more businesses. I just wanted to invest in other people's dreams. And now I get to do it to her now, right? Because like, I'm low key sitting back waiting on her to get all of her stuff to where it needs to be so that she can start doing things. Tell them what you're doing, babe.
So I have a bath line that is in the works. I just did the final phone call for that, and we started production. So hopefully in the next 2 months, we start receiving things to start pushing out the bath line. And I'm also getting my apothecary going. I'm finally starting to seal and put herbs away and concoct teas and whatnot.
Love that.
So as she's doing all the work behind the scenes, the moment she's like, okay, babe, we're ready, I get to step in and go admin shit. Like, I know how to market. I know how to do all of this. And then I get to be a part of her fucking dream. And how cool is that going to be? Because we're already successful on the podcast. My tattoo shops are thriving. I could never work again and live off of the residuals of what I have and be comfortable.
Yeah.
But now I get to be a part of her shit. So like any one of my friends that ever goes, I want to do this, if they can come to me with a good business plan, I will invest in them, because as they succeed, even if I never make a dime off of it, their success on my name of me helping them do that is legacy for me. So
that's why it's so easy to watch y'all's content, because I feel like I could learn way more from you than you could from me.
And I disagree with that.
Well, and this is why I would say it, because you've been there and gone further. And I go, okay, I'll be the student. I want to be the student. That's why I'm like watching your videos and I'm looking for the titles, because I want to see something like, I want to know about how in the world does he buy this? I want to learn. I want to know. I'm interested because I see what you guys do. And I'm like, no, you just don't go spend $40,000 on e-bikes. Sorry. Nobody does that. There's a reason he gets to, though. And I want to know why.
Right.
And so I start watching I'm like, what's happening? What's going on behind the scenes? And then he said last night, it's like, he owns some tattoo shops. I'm like, oh, okay. There's a piece of the puzzle I didn't know. You know, so I'm like, I'm digging into your content.
He's always been like just doing things.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm telling you, I become a student to trying to figure out what it is that you do, because I'm like, what? And I hear bits and pieces like when you guys are talking about stuff, and I'm like, I could soak it up for days.
Yeah.
Like you said, but now talking to you even more. You do consulting, you do the things. There's a reason why you can. It's because you know how. And so I become a student to people like you. And that's the reason why I can go back and replicate it
To other and
share it.
share it.
And share it and be the person that I am, is because I become a student of those who are doing stuff better than me. I'm not comparing my life to theirs. I'm learning from them because I want to do it too. Now, I don't want to own a tattoo shop, but I want to be successful too. That's why when I looked at him and asked him honestly, how can I have your lifestyle? And his words were, just do it. Oh my God. It was so good. That was so good. I didn't know you could just do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that. Did you just Dave Chappelle me, bro? You want to know what my secret is?
What's that?
I'm not afraid to start over in life because I have
That's
a
good,
lot.
though. Yeah.
Right? But my biggest secret is that I'm not afraid to lose when it comes to business. I'm not afraid to fail. Like complete failure, being homeless and like losing my wife, those kind of failures scare me. But losing money in business, if I lost $200,000, I'm going to write it off of my taxes and move the fuck on with my life. I don't care.
I think most people struggle with that part because it's their baby.
Yeah, but you
Right.
can always make more money. You can always open another business. I've had a lot of losses. I've had businesses go flop. I've had others where I got them successful, turning a profit and giving them away to somebody and watch them destroy it in 4 months.
But like a stay-at-home hobby business is different. It's on a different level than what you're talking about, because you're talking about investing into other things now. Well, you don't have an emotional connection to that.
Yeah.
Your dad wasn't the woodworker and you took over his business and you really want to see this business take off. And a lot of people are scared to do that. And I'm like, because that's your baby. You know, your dad did it and he's gone now, and you know, this is how you remember him, and you really want to, you're on Facebook trying to create a page, and you're on, how do I post on a marketplace, and you're so what you're talking about is, hey, do I think that'll work? Here's some money.
Right. But it took me a long time to get to that point.
It does.
But there was no fear then either, though, because I knew if the business failed, I can always make more money. I have a trade. You have a trade.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere in the world and do your job. I can go anywhere in the world and tattoo. I have awards. Like it doesn't matter. And I was a body piercer since 97, so I can go anywhere and pierce. Granted, it's not like world-changing money or generational wealth to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
But if you're a good salesman, you could
dollar on the other side of that
you could
talent.
make $100,000 to $200,000 a year tattooing easily.
Yeah. By the way, I pierced my nipple one time.
Did you enjoy that?
No, I felt like
That was the worst pain I've ever done in my
Yeah,
life.
it shit hurt.
I didn't pierce my nipple though. Here's the thing.
Did you get your areola? Did you get the skin behind it?
Behind it, and I did it with a needle. Not even a real piercing situation.
Like a sewing needle?
Yeah, no, like the bigger bobby pin or the safety pin.
pins?
So it was kind of like a
really
dare
Gen
type
X.
situation. Yeah, it was a dare type situation, and we had the earring, and I had the cork on this side, and I was pushing it through my nipple like this.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden you heard the cork go. Eek, eek. I was like, it's through. And so when I put back like that, and I was like, all right, it's pierced, man. And then I was like, how am I going to get the earring in it? I was like, that's not going to work. And we're like, all right, we'll try. So we pulled the pin out of the cork, and now there's a hole on this side and a hole on this side. And I tried to fish an earring through that thing for probably 5 minutes. And I was like, I can't find the hole. And I realized how dumb that was.
After the fact?
Yeah, well, like,
You didn't think about that, right? But
no, I was thinking about
when you
like,
looked
it was
at the
dumb.
cork.
But like you said, that generation, we were just doing it. It was
Yeah.
a dare. Like we had to finish this, see it through. So I'm just trying to jab this earring into my nipple, and it's painful. And I could feel my whole boob area is just warming up. Like my body's rejecting whatever it's doing, you know? And I'm like, all right, man, I'll never be able to get this in here. And he's like, yeah, I didn't think so either. And I was like, 'cause we could quit now. I won the dare, right? And he's like, well, it's technically not pierced. I said, well, I'm not doing it again. But I definitely did it the wrong way.
No, it was technically pierced,
Right,
though.
there was
the
a
needle
puncture
went
wound
through
there.
it, so you did win.
Yeah.
He just talked you out of celebrating the victory.
Yeah, because the earring didn't. And it
So
was
you're
an
calling
earring.
him out publicly now.
Yeah.
It was an earring. Like it even had the like. It wasn't even straight. It had to like the bend in the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I ever going to get that in there? But then it just was just numb. And I'm just sitting here hammering away at it. I was like, this is dumb.
Oh my God.
But I did it. What do you?
I can't. As a body piercer, I'm imagining the safety pin and then jewelry. Safety pins are like 24 gauge.
It depends. He said it was a big one.
Yeah, it was the long. It was the one that are like this long.
Probably wasn't the same size as the jewelry. you were
Oh,
waiting.
right, but like that's like. Oh.
Wait, are
No.
you a body piercer as well?
Yeah.
That's
I never
awesome.
knew that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Steel.
No, not currently. No, I can still pierce.
You can still pierce.
Yeah, but that's not my full-time job anymore.
I love that. I never knew that. Not that I want anything pierced, but I just didn't know that.
It's an option.
But now I know.
She's done 7 tattoos also.
I have done 7
that's
tattoos.
so cool.
And my last tattoo kind of slapped. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, well, you can't. Oh, do you have the tattoo?
No.
Oh, you did it on somebody else?
No. Yeah.
I had my labret pierced. I had that pierced, but I've ate that ball so many times. I've lost it so many times. I've been talking normally and caught it, and I was like, I got to take this thing out. I'm 30-something years old now. It's like, it's not cool anymore.
I had a hole in my lip so big I could stick my pinky to the knuckle through it.
He can still push water through it. I had him do it Thanksgiving.
It'll never close. It was a big fucking hole.
I like how most like piercings aren't that permanent. You know, they'll close up or whatever. But a tattoo, my goodness, I would be so afraid to tattoo somebody's hair. I was thinking, like my wife when she colors hair, I was like, I would be so nervous that first time bleaching that hair.
But that will
tattooing that skin. Like I couldn't do it because of that. I was like, I don't want to be the guy. I messed up someone's wedding march music. I was back there in the sound booth and they're like, play the song. And I was like, all right. I played the next song. Everybody's doing. But when the bride comes out, play this song. And it was like, it was supposed to be the walk. It ended up being the song that she walked out, not walked up. To. So when I guess I skipped it too far. But as she starts walking out, everybody stood up and the music was like celebratory, whatever the last song was. And I was like, I'll never in my life do this again. And it is not even, it's a permanent memory for them. But I was like, I couldn't imagine messing someone's skin up for life. Like that would be crazy. Yeah, I feel bad messing up their wedding march.
Right. Yeah, that would be scary. I would be scared to be an artist. I don't think it's a big deal to get tattoos. Like if somebody
I don't know. I don't want nobody messing up on me.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be the one doing the tattoo. I'm not that artistic. I get what you're saying. I wouldn't want to mess it up.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that has to. Can you imagine a woman's hair falling out because you bleached it the wrong way?
Oh God,
I would never be able to do that.
Yeah, no.
I would feel worse about that than giving somebody a bad tattoo.
The hair, hair?
Yeah.
Even though the hair grows back?
Yeah.
But like, how do you get...
Because now she's got to walk around with
that. Or get a wig or something. Like, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but what do you do like on a jaw tattoo?
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be tattooing people's faces if you don't know how to tattoo.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When there's people... I've seen people give the tattoos and I'm like, why would they do that?
To get face tattoos.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right.
Not getting it, but like, why would the artist... give somebody that tattoo,
knowing that they're not good at it.
No, one, knowing that art sucks. That does not look like a portrait. It looks like somebody drew on a potato with a crayon.
Well, that comes down to somebody thinking they're something they're not, right? That comes down to your ego thinking that you're some hot shit when you're not.
Like they're that delusional that they think that
you would be fucking surprised at some of the egos that tattoo artists have. A lot of them, especially year one tattoo artists, think that they are hot shit.
Oh, like Ozzy Osbourne in the 70s.
Yeah, they not.
Yeah.
They're not. It takes 5 years after your apprenticeship of you working every day for you to be considered a tattoo artist, in my opinion. So you finish your apprenticeship, which could take a year or two. Then you have 5 years beyond that before you're really a tattoo artist. It takes that long to like learn to problem solve in the moment and understand the way your equipment works. And
seems to me like it would be hard to get over that hump that every tattoo, every new tattoo that you do, it's always on a different person and it's always, different expectations. And like when I build a house, the dirt, this dirt and that dirt are the same dirt. They're on 2 different sides of the county, but I know how to do this. I'm going to take an excavator and I'm going to dig a hole and pour some concrete on it. We're going to lay some block and we're going to build this. But to me, that seems way easier.
Mm-hmm. That's because that's what you do.
Well, I know, I get it. I'm talking about from my perspective when I see tattoo artists, I'm just like, because each time it's somebody new. It's like if I don't like working for customers. I don't like building custom homes for people because now you're adding in a whole new element to home building that I don't like. I don't like, well, I'm going to go with this tile. Oh, I changed my mind.
Right.
I want these cabinets. I want this. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to paint your wall blue. I don't want to paint your wall blue. This is driving me crazy because I know you're not going to like it. And so it's like dealing with customers, expectations not being met. Like anytime that there's a client, it seems like there's an expectation gap that nobody understands. Like it's just, there's such a gap between my expectations and yours. And I feel like that's a tattoo situation because, Every tattoo I've ever got. I was nervous when he was doing this one on my neck because I was like, is it going to look the way I think it's going to look? Like, I want it to not be bad, so bad, but I'm willing to take the risk and let him. I see his other work. I know he can do it. That's why we chose him. But then he puts the sticker there, or he puts the stuff on there, pulls it off. See if you like the placement. It looks good. And then all of a sudden you're sitting under a needle and it's like, whatever happens here is permanent.
Yeah.
And I just want so bad for it to
on
not
the
be
neck.
messed up.
Especially on the neck. Like the face, the neck.
Yeah, everybody's going to like, this finger tattoo did not look like this when I first got it. Look at it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a finger. They should have told you that.
Yeah, well, this is what he said. He goes, oh, it probably won't be too bad. It's square, but it'll move around a little bit. Like letters, they move around. And so and I was like.
Did they actually use the terminology move around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should have found another tattoo artist. Tattoos don't move.
How long ago was that?
The ink spread.
They bleed, right?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, he just said move around. Maybe he was just trying to put it in terms I would understand.
Yeah.
Because I understood move around to be, it'll move. But that, like the cross was like double that size.
Yeah. Well, your tattoos bleed. That's why when you do really fine line shit, it looks great for a year, and then 5 years down the road, it's not so hot.
Right.
10 years down the road, it looks like a big fucking Sharpie marker.
Right.
Is that why they go get them touched up for that reason?
Well, I mean, yes, the fine line shit like that, if it's not done properly, if you are not really good with fine line work, it's not going to look good in 5 years. It's just not. Finger tattoos are not going to look good in 5 years no matter what you do.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
And see, I wanted it so bad I was willing to take the risk. But after, I mean, this was probably 10
I
years
always
old.
wanted to ask you about that, but I didn't want to offend you.
What, this?
I'm just kidding.
No, it don't bother. Because from far
Did you just
away.
get it tattooed that on? Like,
I was like, did you not have a gay friend at that time to tell you that's not a good idea? But no.
When it was first done, it looked so dope.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
But
You were
now
going
it's like,
this to
I'm
everybody.
glad that
He
from
was like-
far away,
Yeah.
it don't look like anything to y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you like putting the hair, and you know how women that just get married, they're like, yeah, so anyway, and they're like showing off their ring. Did you do that? No. Is that a gay thing? I'm sorry.
that
Or
was.
were you like,
No, I just.
Spirit fingers.
I just wanted it. I wanted, and like I'm when I was coming down here, I saw you go get the tattoo, and I was like, oh, I want a tattoo. And then I know what I could get that would work for me, for my aesthetics, my brand or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I was like, once that's on there, that's on there. And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not real sure if I want to go that route. And I was like, let me see what other kind of stuff I could get. And so I was looking, and then I was like, if I'm acting like this about it, I probably don't need to get one, you know, because there's so much uncertainty in my head floating around. And I'm like, all right, this one's a little bit more detailed, but what if it don't look like this one? And I was like, I'm putting too much into it. And I was like, I'm not getting it. I'm not going to go down there and wing a tattoo that's going to be on me forever.
It comes down to looking at portfolios and finding an artist that's very good at what they do. Mm-hmm. I got lucky towards the end of my career. I didn't have to do the client thing. Like people would come in and I would post. I'd be like, "Hey guys, I have 4 hours available on the 6th. It's gonna be $700." So I'd be like, "Okay, I'm gonna do whatever I want." And they're like, "Okay," and that's
oh, sweet.
That's how I ended my career as a tattoo artist. I was tattooing what I wanted when I wanted.
That's so cool.
And it's dope. Like I enjoyed that aspect of my career more than any part of it. The problem is when you are an artist or you're a custom home builder, you have to give those blue walls, whether you think it's a good idea or not. And you can tell them like, hey, my professional opinion is this is a bad idea, but it's your money. And when you leave here, you have to look at this for the rest of your life, not me. So I'm going to do whatever you want, but just know that this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And at that point, if they're like, do it, run that shit.
Right.
Yeah. That's the hardest part though, is spending their money, because they have an emotional attachment to their money. I don't.
Right.
I have an attachment to my craft, my work, and they have an attachment to their money, and they always figure out a way to say my emotional attachment to my money trumps your emotional attachment to your work. And so that's the, but how can I say this better? When I'm working for just me, the only time I'm working for a customer when I'm building my own houses is when my wife comes in and says, I want this color paint, I want this, but we've got this down to a science where I just say, okay, what color, what tile do you want for the shower? Let's just go get it. But when you're doing that with a customer, their money means way more to them than your ability to paint a wall or like how good it looks. It's they're handing over something they're emotionally attached to that they work hard for. And it's like it always seems like they find a way to not be happy at least once. Or at least twice, or when money gets low, then they really become unhappy.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's because they don't want to pay for the shit.
you're right.
You know,
I wasn't gonna say that.
I will.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
You'll get the same thing. You'll get people that'll come in with a picture and be like, "I want this tattoo." I'm like, "Cool, it's gonna be like $2,500." And they're like, "I don't want that. That's too much." I'm like, "Well, do you want how much? What's your budget?" Well, I got like $300. Well, you're not. That's not a $300 tattoo.
Right.
I can give you a $300 tattoo, but it ain't gonna look like that.
Ain't it funny how they could tell you that your
it's easy.
price is too much?
Yeah, but it's just a quick. It's easy.
Yeah.
You could do this.
It's like your price is too much.
Right,
It's
'cause
like,
they're
no,
the
that
artist.
tattoo's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much tattoo. It's like, I want the Ferrari. I can't afford it. The Ferraris cost too much. No, your taste is too expensive.
Yeah, you just don't make enough money.
Yeah, you
Call it what it is.
Yeah.
You're not
Right.
there in life yet.
Yeah.
You got champagne taste with beer money.
budget. Yeah, you got a
Right,
beer budget. That's why you better like drinking beer. You know what I mean? Especially if it's gonna be a night out last night. You gotta.
It's always the bougie, like the ones that think they're like, I don't know. I think back to when, like, even when I was in retail for so long, I was a manager in men's suits, and like I would have people that were like, yeah, the quality. I'm like, dude, you're at Men's Warehouse. Like, you're not at fucking Coco Chanel. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? They're like, oh, the quality. I'm like, yeah, it's a $199 sport coat. Like, either buy shit or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think that they're like, they walk in, they're like, oh, well, before I spend $500, I'm like, $500 on a suit ain't a lot, honey. You can go
No,
to
it's
Macy's.
not.
Or you could go to Nordstrom and see how much it's going to cost you for a suit. But these people come in with these expectations, and then they want to be all like, oh, and then they'll post a review about you because you were the asshole because you made the prices.
We
you know
we
what I
were
mean?
selling a vehicle of ours one time for like $2,000. It's $2,000, and this is because we don't want the thing. It's probably get 3 out of it.
Yeah.
Getting 2 because we want it gone quick. But it's funny to me the people that will only have that kind of money will come in and pick apart the $2,000 van. It's like, well, what is that noise? It's a $2,000 van. That's what the noise is. Does it always do that? Yeah, when
it's
it became worth $2,000, it started doing that.
Right. Right.
You know, like at the point I realized this car's only worth $2,000, every sound, every noise, every shake, every rattle became normal.
right.
This is not normal in a brand new $30,000 car. This is super normal in a 2000. Well, you mind if I take it to a mechanic and get it checked out? Let me just tell you, it's got a timing chain issue, you know, or it's the timing. That's what you're hearing, the ticking noise or the
These are
whatever.
the people writing reviews on pubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they're like, the chicken
People-
tenders were not tender enough.
Yeah,
It was a
people
pub.
crack
It was
me up.
$4.
I'm telling you, I love how people are just so fickle. Does that work?
Yeah.
People are fickle.
You know, the people who actually have money don't act like that. So people going into the Men's Warehouse acting like they've got a little
So,
bit of money,
yeah.
they don't do that. You get to a point where, like, if I heard this, and this is not I don't know who said this shit, but I heard it the other day on TikTok, and it was the truest thing I've ever fucking heard. If my toilet's not working, I'm calling a plumber. They're going to fix my toilet. I don't care what the fucking bill is. My toilet's not working.
Correct.
If I got to take a day of my time to stop doing what I'm doing to go in there and fix that toilet, will it save me some money? Absolutely. But how much money am I losing on the back end by not editing, not dealing with my managers, not talking to my marketing team, not talking to my publicist, not dealing with her apothecary or asking her to do anything? Or the more important thing is, could I have been riding my dirt bikes with my kids that day? Could we have been on a fucking date that night?
Exactly.
That time lost is way more valuable to me than the money that I'm spending on my toilet.
Right.
So when people have that mindset of, oh my God, that $300, that's a whole lot of money.
What did you expect?
Why spend
Bro,
money
right.
on a toilet when you can spend money
But-
while on a toilet that
Yeah.
works, you know?
But I'll say,
I have
I
a
mean,
feeling that's where he does a lot of his buying. Another e-bike.
No, I do that on my computer. Actually, I'm sorry, I have to do this. We had a conversation about you the other night.
oh God.
You have told us over and over again how we're famous, right? And we've let that go. We're not. We're bullshit. You're crazy.
Sure.
We're just normal people, whatever.
Okay, great.
We had a very in-depth conversation the other night about how the
Imposters.
imposter syndrome, thank you, is gone. We don't have that anymore because we can't go anywhere and not be recognized. People
Right.
they get fucking weird about it. We went to the dealership where we bought those Surons, which is also where I bought my quads and everything from. And we've been dealing with the same chick down there. Her name is Michelle. She works at Sun Cycles or Sun Cycle Sports in Fort Myers. And she didn't know who we were. And she kept saying, I love your guys' relationship. You're so amazing. I love the way you look at each other.
She would have legit moments of, guys.
Yeah. Last time you hear she was on her crutches, right?
Yeah.
I pick her up out of the van. Set her down on the ground, right? Like, because we have a giant Sprinter van. I don't give zero fucks, bro. Like, she's my world. I will carry her around if that's what has to happen.
I get it.
So Michelle's outside and she sees that shit and she's fawning over the relationship. And we go back into the service department so they can explain the service of the Yamaha I bought. And she came back out and she's like, you guys have a podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, they were just telling me who you were. And I was like,
oh, the people in there.
Yeah. Everybody else in there knew who we were except for her. Like, there was like 4 people that were like, oh, I love their content, blah, blah, blah. They're famous on the internet. Da, 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 da. She had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Right. And then when she found out, now she's a fan, right? She loves the podcast. She loves what we're doing. And there's this whole thing about it. And I don't remember why I brought that up now. What were we talking about? Because I got so lost on picking you up out of the van that like.
I don't know. It felt like a princess moment for me. I got lost on that too. It was very
I
nice.
imagine like if somebody, sorry, but if somebody picked me up out of the van, I'd be like, oh, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Throwing my feet up like this.
What were we talking about before I
don't know.
into
You
that?
said that you were talking about me the other day. Was it because I said you weren't famous?
No. Well, no. Whatever we were
that
talking
you
about
were famous?
before made me think about that. What were we talking about right before that?
Yeah.
I
it.
feel like even though you didn't get there, I feel like I went there.
Yeah.
Dope.
I appreciate you riding this crazy train.
So like you probably didn't reach the destination, but you hit on a few others.
If you enjoyed the ride, fuck it. We'll go with it.
Always.
Now I'm picturing you carrying her out of the car, and I'm like, I'm a selfish
'Cause I would be
guy because I would just
dramatic.
be like, you good?
Yeah. Well,
I'll go get the wheelchair for you.
That's why it's so different with 2 guys together. Because like when Jimmy's sick, I'm like,
No empathy in the room.
yeah, I'm like huffing and puffing. I'm like, what's good? Are you good? Okay, soup. And, like I don't want to deal with this. That's why I said when we're old, I would probably, his wheelchair might go into a canal. I don't know.
Have you ever had anybody cuss you out why they made you dinner
What?
at 3:00 in the morning?
Wait, say
That's what Jimmy did last night.
Wait, my Jimmy, what did he say last night?
Were you not there?
I mean, my body was there. I was there.
It's like 3:00 in the morning, and we're talking about Ubering in some food or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Jimmy's like, "Don't worry, I got it."
Oh yeah, and then
Gets up and he goes to the kitchen, and I'm just like, "Don't make me just anything. I don't just eat anything."
Yeah.
Like. So I saw the eggs, and I was like, all right, eggs are good. I'll fix the eggs.
he kept telling you to get out of the kitchen.
No, he kept telling me to shut the F up.
Yeah, and
Shut the F up. And I'm like, you need help in there? Shut the F up.
We're a good dynamic. We're
And
like Bert and Ernie.
I'm like,
me
this
and
is
Jimmy.
so funny because like he's enjoying what he's doing while not enjoying what he's doing. And I don't know if it's for real or not. And I'm just like,
We
bro,
need our
for real,
own
I will
sitcom,
cook the
him and
eggs. Get out. I'm like, I'm in the living room, Jimmy. He's like, no, get out.
But then the first thing he says this morning is like, aren't you all glad that I fed you last night? Now you don't have hangovers. And I'm like, this guy is
Yeah.
to meet him. Oh yeah. We're
What did he tell?
good
Like, he was
dynamic.
telling me, what did we eat? What is that stuff we ate? The hash mash? Something?
Corned beef hash.
Oh,
You're
and
acting
then
like
I said,
so new.
I said,
You've
what? I've
never
never
heard of-
had it, bro.
What?
Yeah, he's never had corned beef hash before. I'm
Wait,
like, he's
how?
like, I don't know.
I still don't know what it is.
Listen to
I ate it in the
listen
dark.
to your accent.
It's corned beef.
How in the fuck have you never had that living in the South your entire
That's
life?
what Jim said.
What's corned beef? Is it corn?
It's corned beef.
What?
So
It's beef.
so the beef is cured a certain way,
Okay.
and then it's canned with like potatoes, and
Yes.
there's this sludginess that goes with it.
You've never had corned beef and cabbage for like St. Patty's Day, which is one of my favorites.
I thought that was potatoes that I was eating.
It was.
It
was.
is,
There were
yes.
potatoes in it.
So the crunchy stuff was the beef hash?
Yeah.
Well, because he pan fried it and then he put it on, croissant, like a sandwich. Like he made like a.
It was like it looked to me like the crunchies at like Long John Silver's in the corner of the box.
You need to maybe go to fucking the South 101 again.
No, bro. I'm all about some meat potatoes, and I said, what is that? And he goes, corn, beef, hash. And I said, what?
We're a meat
corned beef hash.
Did
And
you
I was like,
enjoy
Jimmy, I don't know what corned beef
He
hash
loved
is.
it.
Okay.
Bottom line, folks, is he loved it. We're a meat
I
and
really
potatoes
like the
household
sandwich. Yeah.
as well. But right now, Anthony doesn't eat. So we haven't been doing steak and potatoes right now. I eat like a bird now.
I don't eat like you. I eat like a hungry wolf.
No, hold on. You said you've been fasting.
No, I did that for 5 days.
Oh, now you're over it. So the whole 5
well,
day
yeah.
fast
Do you
was
think my
over.
5 days was going to turn into 55 days? I need to eat sometime.
Well, yeah, I know that.
I went 5 days without eating, and I felt so good. I felt the best I've ever felt. But when it's time to eat, it's time to eat, bro.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think you should eat healthy. I think you should be conscious of what you put in your mouth and what goes and enters into your body. But no, steak is okay.
I agree.
The guy that works for me that does he's awesome. He's awesome. But he does my tile and he paints with me, does floors with me, and he brings me eggs all the time. And I'm like, how cool is it?
You know you can keep those ones on your counter. You
I
don't
do.
have to refrigerate those. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you wash them, you have to refrigerate them.
Yeah.
So I think it's so cool that this like we're men's men, you know?
Yeah.
And we're giving each other eggs. He's like, you run out of eggs?
He
You
also
run out of
wants-
eggs yet? And I'm like, actually, I did. So this last time he brought me 2 cartons at 18 count. He brought me 2 of those. Man, I'm so weird right now. I'm cooking bread, you know, and then loving it. We made homemade pizza, homemade sauce.
It's
like
so much
loving it.
better making the bread than buying it in the store.
Dude, it like I
So
even,
much
even
better.
even without
better
the health
for you,
connotation,
less crap in it.
I'm enjoying becoming this different person. Like I'm got the bread machine. I bought a pizza oven for outside, so I'm gonna make my pizza dough. I'm gonna make my homemade sauce, do the thing, cook it out in the oven after I started the fire in it. You know, I'm
You
like
get like
this,
a sense of pride from it.
yeah, like I'm becoming a person that wants to care about things like this. And I saw you open the box of all the herbs and stuff, and I was like, I remember showing my wife, and I was like, I screenshotted it because I was looking for the website to it, and I was like, I want to start jarring this stuff. Like I'm weird right now. So the egg situation, when he brought me in the eggs, man, the first thing I did was go grab a bowl. And I just start picking them out one by one. And I'm like, wait, are you supposed to set them upside down or downside up? And I'm like, screw it, I'll eat them quick enough. So I'm just sticking them in the bowl, and I'm enjoying becoming this like weirder gay version of me.
I love that side.
No,
of
I'm
you.
just kidding. I'm making bread though. I'm making bread like,
Wagyu.
but I am making bread, and I'm trying to eat the eggs, and I'm like, at first I was
Was
like,
it orange? More orange, the yolk?
yeah, well, yeah,
Than
I
in
can
the
see
store?
what you're saying, but like he's like, sometimes I get double yolked eggs, and I'm like, I don't want one of them. So I'm
Why?
so used to normal.
So that's really good luck in Italians. If women crack open and there's 2 yolks in it, it means that they're going to have either twins or they're going to be pregnant.
That's like saying you're.
It's a super. It's a
Yeah.
super. I was gonna say super.
It is
it's a
superstition.
It's super. Italians have
Like
so
an
many.
old wives' tale.
They're like,
Yeah.
this is what he just said. This is so important for the Italian family that if you open up an egg that has 2 yolks in it, that means you might have twins or just one baby,
No, that you like a baby is coming to.
or that
you
you're for
soon.
sure pregnant,
Or that
and it might be twins.
could be twins.
See what I mean?
Okay,
said-
don't. You know, I mean, just let them have that.
Oh, 2 yolks. That must mean you're about to be pregnant with twins or without twins.
I mean, my day goes.
That's what you.
Or maybe-
some of it has blood in it too. So the eggs, he's like, so I've cracked some open and they had blood in them. I'm like, well, what do you do with that one?
You eat
Why
it.
is it bleeding? I was like, is it blood? And he's like, I think it's blood. And I was like, man, I need to learn more about this egg situation because there's 2 things I don't want.
I think it's blood.
I don't want a double yolked egg for some weird reason. I've ate
It's
regular
like
eggs
Siamese,
my whole life.
It's
You
like
know,
Siamese twins.
like I feel like
one of those.
I feel like I gotta ease into this.
Probably not.
I feel like I gotta ease into this, you know.
Oh,
and
man.
so a bloody egg doesn't make sense to me. And then so like some
But
of the
the
farm fresh
bloody
eggs.
chicken breast, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And dude, it's
the
about
same
what
thing.
you're used to.
Yeah.
It's about
You
it's
would
about
think
what-
that. If you go to a regular supermarket and buy chicken and cut that chicken breast, that shit ain't bleeding.
Yeah.
It should.
It should.
It should be bleeding, and it used to when we were kids.
Right.
I remember my mom used to make chicken breasts, and you used to be able to see the vessels. It used to bleed, and now it's literally, you could cook chicken breast that you buy at Publix and Kroger's, any grocery store, and it like splits. It's like
stringy.
Because it's crickets.
Don't tell me that. I'm gonna throw up. Are you serious right now? Oh my god!
No, I was making a joke because they were trying to get us to eat crickets.
Oh, they were trying to get us to eat bugs.
Meat or whatever.
We're by us breathing, we are feeding into climate change.
Are we? We're not feeding trees.
That
though,
is
because
what
they
they
eat what we
said.
exhale.
What's
Crazy. I said plants eat what we exhale, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Carbon monoxide.
but don't worry. The streets of Bangladesh have tons of trash in their lakes and rivers, and they're fine. But
Right.
we need paper straws in the United States, or pay 10 cents for plastic
Paper
bags.
straws and plastic sleeves.
So are y'all on the farm fresh egg?
He's on the egg.
We
likes
actually are. My sister homesteads.
Okay,
Yeah.
then this is what I need to know. I need to know this.
Do you want me to take you to a place to get eggs right now?
No, yeah, I would eat them.
Yeah.
I would definitely eat an egg right now.
This is totally like off topic, kind of on topic. How do you feel about berry picking?
As long as
Gotta
I
be
know
fun.
what the berries are,
Right.
I don't want to eat
Well-
a poisonous berry. Are you taking me berry picking?
I'm thinking we should go berry picking.
We need to do this.
Okay.
I think you should grow some berries
I
in your
still
backyard.
I would love to.
want
So this is
to-
what you got a fence, right? I saw the fence. So what some people are doing is they're taking gutters that you buy at the store and you screw the gutters to the fence so you could screw them in like kind of like shelf. They look like shelves once they're on there, and they're planting the berries in the gutter. So you fill the gutters up with dirt, and it's on the fence and it stays there. It's like my grandma used to grow berries, and we would go pick them all, and I watched her make the jam and everything. She jarred it, so it's definitely fun.
Yeah. And we can grow it here year round. I don't know why I want to laugh.
Well,
when I'm looking at
blackberries
it
grow
right
natural here.
They do.
You can find them all over Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma bought 20 acres of land in Brooksville, off of exit 301 up there, Cortez Boulevard or whatever. And when we were clearing the land, that was like fucking 5 summers of my childhood was clearing all that shit.
Huh.
It was the worst 5 summers of my childhood. But I remember hitting those blackberry bushes because they're just thorny fucking messes, and we had to clear all that shit out of there. But they just grow wild down here. You can find them all over the place.
So is that what you're talking about? Just picking the wild ones, or like picking ones that you grow, or?
Well, there's actually farms out in areas, and we can go in and pick baskets of berries, and we pay per basket.
now. I'm down.
There's
Wow.
places in Arcadia that's close to us, like
Yeah.
an hour
Yeah.
from here. So
I'm down.
There's strawberry fields and whatnot too.
I'm wanting to be more like that, and I'm not because I don't eat berries. Like I don't eat a lot of food.
Well, there's other things too. I mean, there's like orange groves and peach.
I don't eat oranges. I don't eat peaches. You know, so it's like
I eat peaches.
We're
all
really
the
striking
time.
out. How about?
snap!
Ooh.
Fuck.
This was a Christian podcast. I thought this was a Christian podcast.
Listen,
Wait, I
Linda,
wanna ask him a
you're
question.
into eggs.
I want to ask them a
So
question
you
about
don't
the
eat
eggs.
anything else but eggs. Peaches, eggs.
I eat peaches, eggs too. I'm just saying.
I just want to ask a question about eggs real quick.
You're on it. I'm listening
Yeah.
to you.
I have not got off of this yet.
Yes, please.
So y'all are into the farm fresh eggs.
Yes.
Somebody said, "Don't eat the ones that float."
They're bad.
So is that how do you put all your farm fresh eggs in water to determine that
No,
before you
You
cook?
don't wash them. What do you mean? No.
that's my answer.
He doesn't.
I don't cook.
So all mine are sitting in the bowl out on the thing. I crack it open and put it in. How do you go about checking if it's bad before you do that?
Oh, I let them float. If it floats, I toss it.
So before you cook the egg, you put them in water to see if they float.
I put the whole. I don't even take I don't crack it or nothing.
Yeah, just put the
egg,
whole-
Yeah.
Each time you do it,
And then you
put a
rinse
bowl
off
of
the
water
shell. And
Oh
then
no,
you-
they're all sitting in a bowl of water.
right now.
No, not right now. When I go to wash them.
Okay.
So I put them all in a bowl, and I'm not going to take my time washing an egg if it's not going to be used.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah,
So you don't leave yours sitting out. You refrigerate it.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
For the
what I'm- that's what I'm
longevity
talking
of
about.
it.
So I should just get a bowl of water, put the egg in there, and if it sinks, I take that egg to the thing and crack it open.
Yeah,
You only eat
call
one
me,
egg
we'll
at a
figure
time.
this
Hold
out.
on, you only eat one egg at a time.
No, 6.
Right.
do 6
So
eggs.
you just put them in the bowl to wash them.
6 eggs? Isn't that a lot?
I mean, it's not.
No,
Really?
that's
I
what-
always thought like
what,
I
50
just
grams
had to
of
have
protein?
like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
6.
I think
It's
an egg
grams.
is 6
It's
grams.
8.
8
grams per egg.
grams per egg. So I try to eat at least
a lot of eggs.
I love eggs.
Yeah.
And the yolks, people are going to tell you that it's going to fuck with your cholesterol and all that nonsense. You get omegas from the yolk. Eggs are good for you. It's one of like
Yeah,
the,
they're like, oh, you get high cholesterol.
right. You can get it anyways.
I want to start my day off every day with at least 6 eggs, and I'm like, because it's a good healthy food to promote and get your day started. So I'm like, versus a honey bun or something that's just not good for you. So I started off with eggs, so my body doesn't crave more food immediately, and I feel like I can make it till 2 or 3 o'clock, or even dinner sometimes, just starting out eating just those eggs because I promoted health from the get-go, and my body's not craving crap, sugar, and
It's been a lot of fun, but I'm now starting to get hungry and I'm tired.
he's yawned like 5 times.
I know. Well, that's because I've had 3 energy drinks today, so my adrenaline glands are probably shot at this point.
Yeah.
So
Well, I do want to say thank you for having me on.
yeah, I'm glad
I've
you guys
enjoyed
came
it.
down.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I loved it.
fun.
I'm like the guy, remember on Conan O'Brien, where he's like always at the end of the couch whenever and he always puts in his 2 cents. That's me.
There's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy having you on the show.
Yeah, I love it.
Who's the little Mexican guy on that one Daily Show or whatever that sits over in the thing?
Chewy. What
it
was his name?
Chewy's name?
Yeah, I remember.
That's it. You can have him as that character. The camera always pans to Ant over there.
I like that.
That's funny. You have anything you want to add to any of this?
No.
No? All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.